can. This hangout on air is live. Let's see if people recognize the fact that we're live. Okay, and we're live. Yeah, well, there you go. Oh, that's true. Folks, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Where to start, where to begin? We've got a lot of information to cover and a lot of news to bring to you. Okay, I'll be outright from the jump street. Let me tell you something. I'm not a professional journalist. I'm really not. But some information has come to light, and some stuff that I think is newsworthy and appropriate to comment upon has come to light over the last few days. And so we're going to comment on it. The fact of the matter is this is a kind of a semi-informal environment. As I said, I'm not a trained professional journalist. We're going to do our best to color within the lines and to make sure that we rely upon the reliable information that we've seen and vetted before doing the broadcast. It's hoped that maybe this video will serve as a kind of jump-off point for people to do their own research, look at things, look at the information, and come to their own conclusions. In fact, so that maybe just maybe someone with a little bit more production skill or bona fide journalistic knowledge or know-how will come back and revisit this outline that we laid out for you today, and maybe do a little bit more of a polished job of it.
They will. Once tomorrow's news cycle starts, I believe we'll see some of this.
And of course, we got my trusted compatriot, DG, with us. Immediately being like, don't worry, they're going to make a better video tomorrow, CW.
Hello, it.
That's it. Say hello to the folks at home. Okay, so there you go. So DG's with me for a variety of reasons. He's been a kind of sounding board for me today. I've kind of brought a lot of information. A lot of information was brought to me. I forwarded that to my man. We thought about what we could and couldn't accomplish here today. And he's going to kind of keep me a little, keep me a little bit painted inside the lines, keep me a little bit on track. But look, you didn't come here to have me talk to you about what we're doing here today. You've come here to have me do what we're here to do today. Zen Gardner, a conspiracy theorist, New Age philosopher of some note.
We're calling Randy Morgan's on the phone. Mel V.
Yeah, his name is out there. I think people, when I say the name Zen Gardner, it probably rings a few bells. He's done interviews and he's associated with people like David Icke. He had a radio show, a video show, an interview show on the Conscious Consumer Network, where a lot of people may have seen this as well. And those are both important links that we're going to talk about today. The fact of the matter is this, is that a revelation has come to light regarding Zen Gardner's past. We're not here to damn people or to say that no one can overcome a checkered past. But sometimes the information that's revealed is of such a nature that you really have to take stock, step back, and ask yourselves, what does it say about this individual?
Right.
What does it say about how we feel about whatever information he brings forward? What does it say about his duty to disclose this information? And what does it say about the people that he associates with?
What about the people you
Let me kind of give you a thumbnail thesis to kind of get us off the ground. In the conspiracy theory world, there are many tropes, memes, and themes. One very common theme is the theme of underground pedophile cults. Children being kidnapped by
It's about the archives.
The government, children being kidnapped by satanic cults, used and abused, molested, and sexually exploited.
And their organs removed for profit.
What if I were to tell you that some of those leading lights, some of those champions in the conspiracy theory world, who are the strongest advocates that this is some abomination, some sin that we need to hunt down, and that they're dedicated to fighting? What if I were to tell you that these people themselves are associated with, and may in fact be considered to be, fairly aiding and abetting known child molesters?
See, you're a sex pervert. What about your
twin
girls?
With Zen Gardner, and we're
Where
going to talk about his associates, but then
where's
we're
the proof that they were ever here?
Talk about a man named Bill Wood and his association with Project Camelot,
from Carousel. Okay.
Bill Ryan, David Wilcock, as well as, again, coming back to the Conscious Consumer Network, an organization that's constantly going on about sex, pedophile rings, the Hampstead case, what have you. let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Let's start at the beginning. Let's start with the children of God. The children of God. Yeah, did I already fuck it up?
No, you're good.
Okay.
I was just commenting.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Disgusting. I mean, I can't even. I had to say something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's part of the reason that we're here working in tandem is because this is hard stuff to get through. I normally can be a little bit of irreverent, but I don't think it's going to be that type of broadcast because of the information and the stuff that we're talking about. And I also want people to commit to listening to all the information and the facts, follow up on our leads that we lay out for you, and do your own research to make your own decisions. We're not here to do a witch hunt, and we're not here to bash people. We're here to explore issues, to branch it out, to think about it, and to say to ourselves, what does it say to us about our community, how our community is run, and how our level of personal involvement and dedication with these researchers, philosophers, and gurus. Okay. But like I said, let's start at the beginning. Let's start with David Berg. The Children of God was a cult. A cult like many new religious movements that started out in the mid-60s,
piece of
branched
ass.
out, went international, and went around the world.
Sure did.
You know, different
But
cults
irrelevant.
have different
See,
stories
bury me.
attached to them. And the stories that are attached to the children of God and the facts that have been revealed about the children of God
No.
must be discussed firstly.
In the Bible, it refers to
because
us being
only then that you will have a context to
God's
understand
children.
what I'm saying about Zen
Children
Gardner
of God is
and what I
a
think
weird
Thomas Ed Gardner
cult
is.
that drank the Kool-Aid
The
and
children
people
of God.
died.
What do people say about the children of God? The fact of the matter is that their leader, David Berg, had a very open attitude towards sex from Jump Street. One of the first things that was
21
known
Jump
about the
Street.
children of God was their openness about sexuality and their printing of
But you have
using
perversions about
proselytizing
it.
materials that
And you
specifically advertised
Put your
that sex was in the offer.
member in
One of the first things that
buttholes.
was exposed
I'm
about the
going to
Church
keep
of God
this
was a
conversation
practice
clean.
called flirty fishing, where
Cat
David Berg would
fishing.
instruct his young female acolytes to
Pet
go
the
out into the
puss.
bars, the massage parlors, the streets where
Oh,
prostitution took place,
hairdressers?
and
I'm
try
not
to
a
win
massage
people
therapist.
for Christ with their bodies and with sexual pleasure. As time went on, the church developed these practices and teachings regarding open sex and free love.
Here's Chanter's
It came to
Vatican
light over the
Catholicism.
generations and over time that things had gotten kind of weird in that regard. And at the time that
You
David Berg
manipulated
found himself
media
a man
and
who died,
data
a man on
to
the
try
run,
to get me
a man
killed.
wanted by multiple international law enforcement agencies, the fact of the matter is that it had come to light
I see where to the
that they were
present.
encouraging free love between adults
That's you. You and your boyfriends
and children.
and a few girls.
That through a
And some
series of
underage people
dictates
on
and
YouTube.
edicts called the Moe Papers, David Berg was
Get
instructing
Moe
his
Channel.
followers that sex between adults and children was
In
permissible and to
Scientology
be encouraged. It was called the family
in St.
in many
Louis
instances.
and the
Adult men
Central
were
West
taught to be regarded as uncles by the children. The
DADDYs.
the women were taught to be called auntie or aunt by the
Yes,
children.
black people use the word
Like many
auntie.
religious cults, such as the Communist Party, the system was developed, and Scientology, a system was developed where people and parents would see their kids very infrequently throughout the day. The kids were put into group
School.
houses and homes together, and where they were
Quarantine.
overseen and looked over by these aunts and uncles. It came to light that these
Handlers.
aunts and uncles were frequently sexually molesting and abusing the children. In fact, the matter
That's
is
what
that there
you
was
do.
a young man born who was adopted by David Berg, a kid who was nicknamed
I'm a
DeVito.
child of God.
There was a book, kind of like a mini Bible, that was prepared about DeVito.
What,
And pictures were taken
Scientology?
of this young child having
morons?
sexual relations with adults, as well as other children. One of the leading reasons that
Tag
the Children
Reggie
of God
Delaney.
came to fame was in the early 2000s. This young man, David, emotionally distraught over years of having forced sexual relations with his
Tag
own
David Wilcock.
mother,
You made him
went
up.
crazy with a gun,
I'm
tried to
not
hunt
his
down his
mother,
former
Freud.
molesters, and ended up killing himself in a hail
Oh,
of
Craig
gunfire.
Ferguson.
It was then brought to light, and several
Well,
documentary
you're
films
merged with
were
Craig. I
made.
knew that.
The church became an emblem for
you're
all the
not
things
live
that can
tonight.
happen in
And I'm
a
not
cult
talking
or
to
in a
Craig.
religious movement.
Well, I'd rather him
We now
survive
turn to
than
Zen
you.
Gardner. Zen Gardner, whose
He
real
can be
name is
helped.
Don Ferguson, to
Possibly.
the best of my knowledge,
Craig Ferguson.
came to light
Oh,
recently with
that's right.
confessions on his own
Wait,
web
stop.
channel. In an article entitled
Zen
"Five
the
Missing
Gardener
Years," he
is
laid
a
out
Ferguson.
a kind of
Confirmation of spirit.
regarding his confessions about involvement with the church, with this organization. It should be noted that he joined at 22 and was a member for, by his admission, 27 years.
You're making
That
47
leaves
for
him exiting
Biden
at the age of 49. Anyone who's seen current
at the
pictures of
priesthood
Zen Gardner can
initiation.
make their own assessments about the
This is about
timeline
Craig
and when he
Ferguson's
actually
judgment.
ceased involvement, and whether or not at the time that he ceased involvement we think that he
But
was
you're not
morally culpable or should
You're
have been charged
possessing
with
Craig.
full knowledge of what was going on. It should be noted for the record, for clarity of the record, that Zen Gardner has said that he was aware of the
Mr.
abuse
Ferguson, huh?
but did not participate. You know,
That
folks,
means,
it's one
yeah,
thing, and I'll tell you this right off the
you
bat.
guys
It's one thing if
possessed
you tell
him.
me that you were involved in an organization and the crimes that you may or may not have been culpable with,
I have nothing to do with.
or
You
drug
guys
running,
manufactured it.
or maybe prostitution,
Never.
child molestation, and make no bones about it.
Never.
There's no way. It's known that Zen Gardner had raised to a level of leadership with this organization. And I tell you this, upon threat of charges of
Chatterbot. You're out of control.
libel, I tell you, in my opinion, in my educated opinion,
But you're not educated.
His own
You're
words,
a college
as well as
dropout.
emails that were
Flunk.
sent back and forth
8
with him
years
between other parties,
does not get
that
you a
there's no
diploma.
way that
That
he can
just means
say
you come from
that he
money
was not aware that it
and
wasn't a simple
crime
case of rumors
and
behind the
filth
backseat. We're not talking about the Roman
and
Catholic
lawyers.
Church here, where one or two members may or may not have been involved.
We're talking about you guys making a case
Roman
on
Catholic
witchcraft
Church
and demonology.
Exactly. And that's a central issue, folks. These
All
were
right, here comes
doctrines.
demon
These
trust
were
time.
teachings that were taught. This was systematic. Okay? This is not a Roman Catholic Church where one or two preachers or priests may have been getting into some funny business with the altar boys. This is an organization who, from the top, were being instructed and taught that sexual relationships with minors and children was not only permissible, it was God's way.
This is the mental
So
insanity
now we
that
get to
comes
Zen
from
Gardner. The fact of the matter is that
Judaism
you could look at Zen
and the
Gardner's
Vatican
recent
rolled into one. They killed
confession
Christ, for God's sake.
on his website and say, okay, well, now he's finally coming clean.
All he's really done is confess to being in a leadership position.
Yeah, that's the fact of the matter. He's only confessed to being in leadership, and he still denies that he had any real, involvement in the abuse. But the fact, yeah, well, of course, yeah, but then, of course, if you can't stop it, you just get the fuck out of town. I mean, what's stopping you from leaving and telling the authorities, okay? He was in a leadership position,
Means
folks.
get out of YouTube.
There's no way that he can deny that.
And get out of
And there's
St.
no way that he
Louis.
can deny the fact that when he became
Just
quote-unquote
basically
Zen
die
Gardner
is what
and
they
started
told me.
his own website, started his own publishing house, started making contacts with individuals like David Icke, started making contact
Who
with
is
individuals
David
like
Icke?
you at home on
Really?
Facebook, via your email accounts, via asking
He
you for
stole
PayPal
mine.
donations that he could have disclosed to you. Oh, and by the way, you know what? You should know this about me. I was involved in this organization that systematically abused and molested
But I
little
didn't
kids.
listen to David
And it was a
Icke.
horror show, folks. Go back to the YouTube.
I didn't come
documentaries are there.
online
There's
until
documentaries on
2014.
Netflix. Look at the
Where
information. Look at the
obviously
facts about this organization.
you
And
claim
ask
to be
yourself
on
if anyone
since
could
you were a
possibly be
child.
involved in a leadership position
Child
and say,
abuse.
oh, gee, I was aware that something was going on, but I was powerless to stop it. Or, oh, gee, I knew that something was going on, but what could I do?
He was in Brazil, I believe.
It was in Brazil that was the hotbed of some of the most heinous activity. And of course,
Voodoo
why does
and
a cult
Santeria.
organization bring their white followers who don't speak Portuguese to a place like Brazil? Well, then it is difficult to leave, but it's not difficult for a guy like Zen Gardner to leave. I'm sorry. That's my opinion.
Yeah, he
You can do
claims
your own
that
research.
because of most of the these cults, they get you, they separate you from your kids, they separate you from your family. So he may not even know where his kids were, and this is what he's claiming.
I don't know where my
it wasn't as simple as
grandchildren
grabbing your
are.
bags and going.
They've
Right.
met
He
with
says
some
he had to go,
heavy
couldn't gather
influence
some
of
but why not just leave
demons
just himself?
with the
Get the kids out
Vatican.
later.
Same
There
as
you go.
Tanner.
There's all sorts of things that he could or could not have done. But the fact of the matter is this: that his website has been going on for over between 6 and 8 years.
Exactly.
Okay, so this guy's been around for a while. And here's the other thing
I
that we're
haven't
going to say:
seen.
you can look at the chronology of his.
I have
of his
not
confession
seen
on his-
Chelsea
on his
Desiree
channel.
Pratt,
Know this. It's
Leela
one thing when a
Faye,
person comes out and says,
Chloe
"Folks,
Susanna,
there's something
or
you don't know about me.
the
There's
alleged
something I got to get off my chest."
child that
Before
fell
anyone
out on
says
the kitchen
anything,
floor,
I gotta
Rourke,
get this off my chest for me
since
and for
2012.
you. Here's my confession.
CW
Bullshit.
must be
The
Zach
fact of the matter
Taggart.
is that people have been exposing
And
him,
that's
and he
why
is
the
out
girls
and exposed.
are
There's an
gone.
individual who runs a
And they
blog,
were Irish
a person who
twins.
goes by the nom de plume of the Philosopher's Stone.
Not twins like
Collecting
Chandler
emails
said.
from Zen Gardner, Don Ferguson, back and forth, and confronted him via email. Gave Don Ferguson an opportunity to come clean and basically abandon the whole Zen Gardner persona and abandon all pursuits within the alternative community world. Zen Gardner chose instead to have a self-serving confession go out on his own website, and then Philosopher's Stone went ahead and published the emails, which are damning. And let me just
Oh,
go through some of the
no.
arguments that
Did
Zen
you say
Gardner
I was a guy and named me
that
Zen
makes it so
Gardner?
abhorrent and abominable.
After your
Kind of
buddy
what he's done.
Z? Or is
Zen
it
Gardner
Z?
was confronted.
I think it's
He
Z.
emailed back to this individual
Zadanias.
and said, "What about
Dumbass.
basically making the implication that people have to be whistleblowers, and sometimes that's a difficult thing to do, or involves
And that would be
complicity,
you also.
and it's very hard at its nature." He brings up the case of Mark Passio and seems to equate Mark
How many
Passio
altars do
former
you have,
Satanist or
Demon?
witch, with him being a former member of this organization, was the Church of the Family,
I speak
or the
over
Church of
you.
God. No, that's a false equivalency. It's a false equivalency. Being a member of a Levain
You're not
Satanist
even a
organization or
human.
having
You're
kind
a
of satanic
bug
philosophies in your background
machine.
is not the equivalent of being in a
Go ask
leadership
Kelly
position
Farmer.
in an organization that systematically molested and abused children.
You got a parasite in her. She's a child.
It's impossible. The fact of the matter is that Zen Gardner, I believe that the facts show that if a person doesn't make a confession
I mean,
until they're
legal
outed,
age.
that confession is tainted.
19, 20, 21.
Maybe or maybe
When
not.
your spirit
Zen
comes to
Gardner
the
and Don Ferguson
forefront.
would have chosen
I'm
in
talking
the
about
future at
Kelly
some point to
Farmer.
make his own disclosure.
Now
Whenever a person makes a
Chantel.
disclosure after their hand has
She's
been
about
forced,
700 pounds.
there's no escaping that simple
You gave her
historical event
AIDS.
and that simple factual matter.
You
That
possessed
his
her
hand
and
was
you
forced.
profaned her and
And I
called her
dare
mean.
say that it allows me to draw the conclusion, personal opinion, you can draw your own, that but for the fact that his
You
hand
don't
was
even
forced,
have
Zen
hands
Gardner
to
would have
hold a
never said
pencil.
anything. Okay. Let's talk about Zen Gardner's associations. Am I ready to move on to Zen Gardner's associations? Is there anything I've missed? Or have I done enough?
You missed
Okay.
it all.
People in the chat, I'm good. I'm taking moments to look at the chat. I hope it doesn't break things up too
You're
much.
glitching.
No,
I already
don't
know
think
you're
much
here
much
now.
either.
Everybody else
Okay.
does. Take that
Okay.
S room.
So there we go.
We have Jaded Sofa says yes. That's why this must be approached logically, and the facts.
Thanks,
make sense.
addressed.
Well, because
Okay, so
they
there
already
you go.
know
So
you're
here we are
lying.
now. Now, what am I talking about about his
How long ago
associations
did
and
you
what
make this
the
video?
Zen Gardner
Let's see how
situation
long you've
means
been lying.
for the larger community at whole? Well, let me start here. Number one, first, we've already talked in brief and in passing Zen Gardner's personal
August
relationship
17th,
with people that he
2016.
speaks to online as a YouTube content creator.
That was what
as
when
a
I was leaving
website
CCN.
owner and forum runner.
And Channer
as
was
a
on
person who does
CCN
conferences, I
speaking,
believe, and public
and so was
speaking
Z.
engagements, as a person
Zen
who
Gardner
engages
had
in those
already
connections
left.
with other people in the community.
Randy
A lot of people know
Moggins,
Zen Gardner's
that
story
Channer
firsthand,
created as well.
popped in many real
Something
ways
like
because,
that. You can't
another
find him no
website
more. Go find
reported
Randy
and said,
Moggins
hey, what about his
with your
connection
dinner
to
with him when you
David
ate
Icke?
him.
And it's a
But
permanent
anyhow,
connection because David Icke, as any people
Randy Moggins
makes
is
it as
who
a
put the
hallmark
file
or tentpole
with
of his
CCN that
operation,
said Zen
the protection
Gardner
of children against these
had
so-called
been
satanic
second in
molestation
charge
cults, the government agencies
of marketing
that are
and
kidnapping
PR.
kids, and all the kids that are disappearing off the streets.
Here again, organ
We also
harvesting
know that David Icke made a very big deal
and
about
trafficking
the Jimmy Savile situation.
for sick weirdos
Well, I
like
think
you.
that's important because
Double lung
this, we were supposed
transplants.
to
You know what I mean,
talk
Worm?
people in the David Icke
occultism and
community believe that
parapsychology
David Icke is a
is the shirt
trusted
he has the nerve
researcher,
to wear
that
today.
the research that he does is legitimate, that the research he does is thorough,
You're an
that he
abortion.
goes in with discernment, that magic watchword that means nothing, and that he investigates everything to an ultimate conclusion, getting at the supposed truth. But the fact of the matter is this: while they are pitching against windmills, talking about these underground satanic organizations, organizations like the family actually have historical events. They actually exist. The child abuse that occurs within these organizations is palpable and tantamount, not only to law enforcement, to legitimate news media and journalists, but should be known and obvious to someone.
Hey, Tubby, right here from your buddy Mel V. A video went up 59 minutes ago with no views. It's called Ugly Drive. Through Randy went there. Terrible haircut, terrible eyebrows, terrible makeup, and a sad smile. Tag it.
People can draw their own conclusions about whether or not I'm being fair
Nobody's
or
even seen
unfair
it.
to the likes of David
It's
Icke
only
or
29
the Conscious
seconds.
Consumer Network, an
Channer,
organization
could that be a
that
bomb?
hosted Zen Gardeners.
Is that bomby
Another
bombshell?
organization that makes it as part of their motto or their axiom their desire to break apart and destroy these underground sex rings. So they're not even vetting these people. The point is this, and here's kind of, we're going to constantly keep on kind of coming back in a roundabout fashion to my central thesis. You cannot just trust these people. You have to do your own research. You have to get down to the nitty gritty, and you sure as shit can't start getting personally involved or feeling some sort of personal love connection to these organizations.
Just really.
How many times have you tuned into David Icke and have people introduced with him on the street outside of the Bilderberg group, or guys like Alex Jones being patted on the back and people saying, "You're a truth warrior. You're doing it for us, David. You're walking in the light." How many times have I said something about one of these individuals and said, I have a problem with this event, this event, this event, this teaching, or this philosophy, or this line of research, and have people blast me in the comment section because David Icke is walking in the light. David Icke is a palpably fallible human being who I dare say is not a journalist. You wouldn't fall this much in love with a journalist.
How do you
okay? The lionization of a journalist is the lionization beyond that is a distraction from their function. And their function
you got
is
50 grand and 11 grand. And he got 60 grand.
Gardner, I dare say,
and I lost 30.
Like
almost sounds like you charged me for my information that you stole. Is that right?
I'm not here to judge you.
Yes, you are. You're a Sanhedrin judge.
Just because someone talks about
I guess you don't believe in your other incarnations.
If you meet them personally and you fall in love with them, that's fine.
You gotta be
Let's
stupid.
talk about the people in the alternative community who have said amazing things about Zen.
You did a love spell?
And you'll see
the
issue that I have and why I think it's pertinent.
How gross.
To discuss these individuals.
Is that how your dick fell in my anus?
Here's the accusation. These people are involved in a business model. And the business model is
life and love and honesty.
How do we generate more likes? How do we get more people
it's
coming
not.
to the conference?
You stole all mine.
And how do we get to...
I lose subs every time I have the nerve to speak.
Number one, David Icke was the first to come out and basically said that anyone trying to associate him with Zen Gardner, okay, was basically a muckraker. Okay? How about this, David Icke line of truth?
Just eat and eat
Why
because
don't
you're
you start
dead.
with
Keep eating your pork.
With your knowledge, your information
I already
about
saw
the Children of God, the Children of God Church, the Family Church, and talk about how you think or what your research has led you to know or believe about them. How about a statement of personal sympathy or philosophy? Let's talk about that. Now, he goes out swinging, basically saying that the accusation that he was linked to Zen Gardner was an impossible one to believe.
But
the fact of the matter is that his connection to Zen Gardner is an established fact.
Enough to protect me from the evil eye. Boogie, boogie, boogie. It's real diamonds. I mean, it's no big deal. Is that David? Is that you pretending to be David? Does anybody really give two crabs.
Of course,
Well, we
because
do
it could
because you're
possibly be anything
destroying
else.
people.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's David Icke's words himself.
We
Zen
got
gardening
this
focus
issue
a welcome
and that
contribution
issue.
to a
And
gathering
these
challenge to
guys
the
are going to
matrix of
tear
deceit.
you alive.
One more time, from the top, folks. Zen Gardner's book is a welcome contribution
Real
to a
men
gathering challenge to the
defending a
matrix of
real
deceit,
place
illusion,
called
and,
America.
program perception.
Oh,
Lies got us into this
and I'm
mess.
supposed to get my
Only
gun.
truth can
I'm
get us
Annie.
out of it. David Icke,
Susanny.
talking about Zen Gardner's book, You Are the Awakening.
You are the
Folks,
dumbass
meet the
chatter.
new boss. Same
All
as
your
the old
fake
boss.
books nobody's ever
Moving
going to
on.
read. They're e-books,
Where
just
is
like
it?
Mel's band
Right, this other
book.
thing. And then also
See
John
the
Rappaport
future.
got involved. Find out.
Fucking retard.
Apologize, folks.
You do not. You lie. You're busted.
Oh, and of course, by the way, David Berg, who's the leader of
That's
the
your
family,
situation.
the man who created these rules regarding the limonization of the sexual molestation of children, was also a rabid anti-Semite. Guess what Zen Gardner's been accused of many times? Anti-Semitism. Guess who else he associates with? Ole Damagard. Again, another famous anti-Semite. Here we go. John Rappaport. Zen Gardner does an adventurous thing and a right thing with an exciting thing. He knocks down the wall between consciousness and the world without diminishing the heights to which consciousness can rise. Think about that and read what he writes, because he is also updating original Zen to make it relevant to today and tomorrow. He shreds the illusionary barrier between wisdom of the past and life as it is in this minute. That's an amazing word. And that's the fact of the matter, folks, is that this is a business. These people sell books, they sell tickets, they sell documentary movies, and that's what it's all about.
That's the
And
show
everybody is for
circuit.
sale.
I know
I'll tell you
about
something.
it.
Not to get
You don't
too
have the
far
right to
off
sell
the
me,
path,
you
we'll
whore.
talk about another cult for me,
You don't
the
even
Hare
own
Krishna
yourself.
Organization, the International Society of
You're
Krishna
not
Consciousness.
sovereign. You're a
One of
booth.
the crazy things that happened in the International Society of Krishna Consciousness was there was a young devotee by the name of Salokanad Das. And Salokanad Das had discovered that after the death of the founder of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, Srila Prabhupada, the 11 gurus that he had appointed to take his place and basically bring the organization to the next step had gone crazy with illicit drug use, illicit sex, gambling, money laundering, and all sorts of variety of criminal problems, including the molestation of children, specifically by a man by the name of Ken Ham, who was the leader of the famous commune in New Vrindavan, also called the Palace of Gold. Salokanad Das was murdered. One of the unindicted co-conspirators in that murder was a man by the name of Radhanath Swami. Well, guess who wrote a blurb to Radhanath Swami's autobiography? None other than Ram Dass. A glowing review, a puff review. Guess who else once famously talked with Radhanath Swami at NYU? A man you probably are familiar with, a professor of philosophy and law by the name of Cornel West. No one is doing the investigation and vetting of these people. It's all people patting each other on the back, and who ends up the victim? You end up the victim. You end up buying the book, you end up donating to the PayPal account, thinking that you're doing good, that you're doing a laudable good, that you're achieving some sort of goal, that you're trying to defeat the matrix. There could be nothing more matrixy and programmed than an individual who comes out of the Church of God, then sets up and all of a sudden goes from being an alternative free love Christian to all of a sudden now saying that he's a Zen gardener. The fuck that means. And then puffs that out to the masses for consumption and buying. The Conscious Consumer Network. Another great organization that obviously does so much to vet people. Now, folks, we're going to move on a little bit because I don't want to spend too much time and I don't want to get repetitive. I think you know what I'm talking about. I think you know what I've laid out so far. What we're going to do now is kind of move on, and we're going to talk a little bit about another instance where this sort of thing happens and can happen. Before we do, let me do it in this step. The Consumer Conscious Network that many people know about, an alternative media outlet, an internet TV channel, and a YouTube content creator. A collective organization that are trying again to defeat and fight the matrix. Well, look, the fact of the matter is that Zen Gardner was on their a member of their community. The fact of the matter is that Zen Gardner's interview show, he hosted a show on that network. So what does that say about the vetting that's done at that organization? Okay? The point is, people, there is no one awake at the wheel to protect you from disinformation. You have to protect yourself. And step number one is saying to yourself, I'm going to listen to this information objectively. I'm going to take it in. I'm not going to emotionally react to it. I'm going to try and do what research my time allows me. And I'm going to try to understand it for what it is. I'm not going to try to become emotionally attached or involved with the people that are bringing it to me, because that's a false narrative. In fact, that is a cult narrative. When you start saying to yourself that you can take things on faith, stop judging them independently, and trust an organization because they've been so right in the past, but you don't know they've been right in the past because all they've given to you is information. The Conscious Consumer Network also has on their staff a young woman by the name of Alice de Avalon. Am I correct?
That's right.
Okay. Alice de Avalon is famous to many people for a variety of different reasons. We're going to talk about some lighter stuff next, but what we're going to talk about now is her association with a woman named Eva Moore. So we're going to go, everything is connected, folks, and we're going to go through we're going to step backwards through time, through people, through individual stories, to get to another situation that is just very similar to what's happening with Zen Gardner. The fact of the matter is that what's happening with Zen Gardner happened in the recent past, but almost nobody in this community noted it. Almost nobody in this community updated their standards because of it, and the community didn't change. I think the real lesson is that what ends up happening is that if you can get away with it once, then you can just get away with it 1,000 times. We're going to go through some names, then we're going to get to the past, and then we're going to follow those names back up to the future to make the connection. Alice de Avalon, Eva Moore. Eva Moore is married to a man named Bill Broadbreaker, better known
Brock Brader.
Brock Brader, better known. It's terrible. Better known to aficionados of Project Camelot as Bill Wood. Okay? Bill Wood first came to the scene on Project Camelot a little bit before 2012. In a series of interviews he did, landmark interviews he did, with not only Carrie Cassidy, but also Bill Ryan, as well as a third person, David Wilcock. Bill Wood's story went something like this. He was a member of a secret SEAL team, SEAL Team 9. And as a member of SEAL Team 9, he was involved in some covert black operations. You know, some underground shit that he just couldn't speak about, sworn to secrecy. But now he was a whistleblower. Vetted by David Wilcock and brought to Project Camelot, vetted apparently by Project Camelot, and brought to you for your edification and enlightenment. To be told that his had valuable whistleblower testimony regarding his involvement in SEAL Team 9, the use of Tomahawk missiles pre the Iraq conflict in Iraq, and atrocities committed by this supposed SEAL team. Okay? All is well and good in Bill Wood's world. He's getting some internet fame. Believe you me, he's got his PayPal account. There's a 3-hour interview that you can see on Project Camelot, where they tell you if you want to support Project Camelot, donate here. If you want to support David Wilcock's research, donate here. And of course, if you want to support Bill Wood, he can be reached here. Bill Wood, coming out and being online in Project Camelot, had a nice grinning streak for a while. And what happened was he got himself a brand new wife. A real classy looking broad by the name of Eva Moore. But then, wouldn't you know it, like happens to so many people who claim to be members of some secret covert organization, especially someone who claims to be a Navy SEAL. The Navy, the veterans started to find out about it. They start to do their research. The fact of the matter is this, is that there are a lot of people who have a real problem with people claiming to be Navy SEALs. And that's when the problem started for Bill Wood. The fact of the matter is there's a famous guy by the name of Don Shipley, a certified All-American hero, real kick-ass dude, a legitimate Navy SEAL.
Yeah, you're talking about one of the S's. Okay, serious. I heard what you said in there. So Project Camelot and Carrie Cassidy must be the holding company or the corporation that you set up to be a skeleton corporation for my data. And then you guys marketed it while you also tried to murder me. Well, that way nobody'd ever know it was my information.
Got his attention. And he did his research. And guess what? He
really knew me in real life. I'll
bet
okay. That.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Sometimes people try and help me. They end up screwing up my flow. Okay, so Don Shipley.
We got 2 pictures we're working with. Try to
Don Shipley starts to do his research, and he finds out that Bill Wood not only wasn't a Navy SEAL, but his military history was a bit checkered.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is this, is that Bill Broadbreaker, okay, was court-martialed for going online and lying about these things and claiming to be Navy SEAL. But not only that, the fact of the matter is that Bill Broadbreaker was convicted of child molestation, specifically the charge of sodomy. You want to know what he did? I'll tell you what he did. I think that this is fair to say. It's a matter of public record. His story, even his own confessions about it, will sicken you. I'm not one for social justice warrior safe spaces. We're going to go into some dank territory right about now, and not the groovy 420 kind. If you've got any sort of emotional trigger over these sort of situations, I'm going to advise you to kind of mute out now. If you want to pay attention to the chat, that's fine, because we're going to go into some dark territory. According to Bill Broadbreaker's own confessions, after being busted out when he's trying to reform the situation and reform the story, he admits to the following. He walked in on a 12-year-old girl masturbating.
No.
And that began a sexual relationship where, at 12 years old, he went, when he was an adult and she was 12 years old, he performed oral sex on her. The relationship went on for some time, and by the time that she was 16, they were engaged in full sexual intercourse.
Bullshit.
A grown-ass man having sexual intercourse with a 16-year-old who he had began performing cunnilingus on when she was just all of 12 years old. Sick yet? Disgusted yet? Okay.
They are. Charges that in 4/21/1998 he's convicted of sodomy with a child under 16.
Sounds like manufactured media.
Sweet Jesus, Lord have mercy. But guess what happens? Do the likes of Carrie Cassidy say, we wash our hands of this individual, we won't have anything more to do with him? No. When the fit hit the shan and he was on the run and telling people that he was about to be picked up by the government, was he confessing his sins? Was he even telling Carrie Cassidy, hey, listen, get out of Dodge. I'm so sorry I lied to you. I'm so sorry about this. No. Him and his wife, even more, continue to appear on Project Camelot, where Carrie Cassidy adds fuel to the fire and is providing cover for these people by saying to her audience that she knows that what they're saying is true, that he's being hunted down like an animal, not because he's a sick child molester, super freak, but because...
Says the guy that sticks his penis in other guy's mouth. Oh my gosh.
The same guy.
Oh, don't.
They're the same guy. This is an established fact. You know, folks, we're going to be able to flesh out.
Was he able to change his name to Bill Wood?
No, he didn't even bother. It's just a pseudonym. Wait. No. It's Bill Broadbreaker.
No, the old Woods. That's Elvis's old dude from the spaghetti western, tag noodles.
This is an established fact, folks. We're going to be able to flesh out the video description box.
You guys are
There's some more
hunting
links as time goes on, and we'll be able to put you into some more avenues where you can conduct your own research. Folks, what is the thesis? Don't trust the talking face on the screen, whether the talking face is on the internet, or whether that talking face is on the TV or the movie screen. Absolutely. Do not take anything I say for granted. Take these names, take these accusations, and go and do your own research and make your own conclusions. Please make your conclusions with an open mind. And please don't let yourself be deceived to say that you're so emotionally invested in Project Camelot that you're going to end up giving a child molester a watch.
I never watched it once.
Okay, it's the same fucking dude, Bill Wood and Bill.
Oh, you're talking about Elvis. I got it.
What does Kerry Cassidy go? They all of a sudden start telling the story that the reason that they're trying to get Bill Wood and arrest him is not because he's guilty of some crime. It's not because he
wasn't pardoned by Trump.
Charged with something additional.
No.
They start laying.
Hey, Trumpy Bear. Come on. Elvis is waiting for a pardon. He's locked in the basement.
Right?
Or the cabinet. Your audio is glitching major because you lie like the dog you are.
She's going to keep that party going. There's no way that anyone in their right mind can look at this fact pattern and say, oh, gee, the reason that they're after this guy, they made a
tag Shane's last name then.
Project Camelot.
Stack that up against Tony.
I hold fast
Stark.
that the cultural contributions of Project Camelot and the
Amadeus?
exposing that they do is de minimis at best. You know,
you speak
the numbers
in Latin,
that Project Camelot generate on YouTube look pretty damn impressive until you take a look at Minecraft videos. Until you take a look at videos of little cats falling out of a tree.
Our current war
until you take a look
in the
at,
video game world
the latest
actually
by Lady
blows
Gaga.
shit up in real life.
The notion that Project
Tennessee.
Camelot is creating some sort of stir in the ether that the system has got to break down and destroy
is the ether.
Laughable. Nobody knows who Kerry Cassidy is.
E.
Nobody knows who Bill Ryan is except the few
you made them up.
People who gather around this
you paid for all
electronic
those views with the money you stole.
Called YouTube and called the Project Avalon Forum and called Conspiracy.
No, wait. Now YouTube
That's it.
is really Project Camelot. Really. You got to be stupid as hell. The internet was designed as a spy tool to find people that are guilty of war crimes like you.
Okay. So there you go. Well,
your bot sucks.
Bill Wood,
Cliff knew
aka
it.
Bill Broadbreaker.
That's why Cliff said it would only be negative. Because you guys are only
by the
negative.
authorities. Remember that name, Alicia Avalon?
Oh, truthfully, tits?
Remember I said that he's got a new wife?
That dingo ate my babies.
And even more was quite vocal, apparently.
That's David Wilcock. You're talking to Henry McCruiser.
Hey, I'm not going to accuse her of being an
That's you.
opportunist, but guess
He's
what?
dying
Isn't
of
it kind of
AIDS,
funny
by the way.
that this guy all of a sudden gets a hot new bride right after he appears on Project Camelot?
Oh, Elizabethan?
And
You're
isn't
a
it fun thing that when
stupid
he's going back into the clinic
artificial
for
intelligence.
as far as I'm
And it's
concerned,
become
fucking
painfully
I'm
obvious
sorry.
that
sorry.
my human
I don't
organic
know what
intelligence
pay attention-
is far
pay attention
superior
to what people
to
say
your
in the
artificial
Bill
world.
Wood
Tag it and praise God.
Okay? Be aware of the amount of people that interviewed gals like Eva Moore, or even the people that interviewed Bill Wood and said things like, "Oh, well, we've all been teenagers."
Wait,
and teenagers
one more thing. Eva Moore was that redhead that was allegedly involved with Max Spears.
That teenagers are sexual beings, so hey, teenagers experiment. Yeah, that's fine, as long as they're doing it with other fucking teenagers. Because the minute you have a fucking adult in the scene, it's not a fucking fair playing field where a person can say, "Oh, gee, fuck you." Listen, if you're,
Hey,
I'm not, fuck you.
I've always mentally been an adult,
At all,
and I don't care how old you get, you will always be a retarded child.
you're free.
You're an inbred worm.
If you're a grown ass man, over the age
You're
of
a
18,
beta bitch faggot.
sex on a 12-year-old.
You fucked your daughters and cursed your wife.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. And you should at least have the guts to confess to it so that people can say, "Oh, gee, how am I going to think about this guy?"
Oh, you are confessing. You didn't know today was your judgment?
Or do I want to associate? Or what do you guys think at home? about Kerry Cassidy, Bill Ryan, and David Wilcock that they weren't able to suss out the situation. Hey, where are the confessions of David Wilcock saying about where his research or vetting of Bill Wood went wrong? Silent. Where are the confessions? Yeah, where are the confessions of the statements of Bill Ryan disavowing himself of Bill Wood?
They only needed
Bring it to my attention because I haven't fucking seen them.
And my
Kerry Cassidy?
reports.
She's still lying.
You guys all jumped on. And
She's
nobody asked you guys to do the job. I was asked to do.
It's legitimate, or that Bill Wood was an actual, tried and true quote unquote whistleblower who paid the ultimate price and penalty for spreading his wisdom and knowledge that amounts to fuck all.
That sure ain't you, dumbass.
Rehash of everything else that people were saying about the atrocities in the war in Iraq. Oh, really? No way. Are we acting as a post-colonial power overseas in the Middle East? Blood for oil? Jesus, that's a revelation. Fuck these people. Anyway, moving on. Ava Moore starts doing interviews with a girl named Elise de Avalon. The connections get crazy and the stories get wild. Folks, if I play fast and loose or if I'm all over the map, I'm going to have to forgive me because the shit is a clusterfuck. Ava Moore starts doing interviews with a girl named Elise de Avalon. Elise de Avalon is vetted by Mel C., the leader of the Conscious Consumer Network, as being a great journalist for that organization. Elise de Avalon, a great journalist for that amazing organization who does so much for so many people, the Conscious Consumer Network, PayPal, join up, sign up, pay some money, buy some products, right? Is immediately then turns around and starts doing a series of interviews with Ava Moore, where she basically goes on a one-woman crusade to reform the story and to verify and vet Ava Moore's story that the reason that Bill Wood is being kept under wraps or being hounded by the likes of Don Shipper, who they accuse of being a COINTELPRO agent. This is a fucking sick world. They want to tell you that the world is sick, that black is white and up is down, and that's the reason why we need people like David Icke and Elise de Avalon to show us the fucking light, the way, and the truth. The fact of the matter is their world is just as twisted, upside down, black, white, and center. No one's vetting anybody, and these people aren't fucking journalists. Elise de Avalon does a series of interviews with Ava Moore, into about 5 or 6 hours of testimony, where Ava Moore is saying things like the reason that Edward Snowden was able to accomplish what Edward Snowden had to do was because fucking Bill Wood was using his Navy SEAL training behind the scenes to fucking break down the fucking electronics or whatever so that the mission could be accomplished. You see how sick these people are? These are the same people
I'm
that
just
say Edward
reporting
Snowden
the way that it's come to me.
confessions about the secret space program.
They both
or
play
verifies the statements by this guy, this
nerve.
whistleblower, this secret space program individual, that secret space program individual. They just make it up as they go along.
I think Elvis should pardon them.
Fucking asses. And they just sing and dance.
Trump wouldn't even answer me why he was hanging out with Elvis.
Be
Come
careful.
on.
The amount of vetting
Ava Moore's a good
do
yeah.
Next thing you know, Wilcock is cast her in the government.
That's
Being an
it.
inquisition.
You could turn on.
Well, he was going to be running for government. Remember, David
Just go
Wilcock?
by memory.
You talked about him countless
Do your own
times.
Googling, and you're going to find everything that we said is true. Court documents, verified
Everything I
court
said
records.
is true.
People are out here saying that David Wilcox is an amazing researcher. He's such an amazing researcher.
Implies you either have a mouse in your pocket or a gerbil up your rectum. Which one? David should answer that.
Yeah, it's still up there. Have they taken it down? Now that everyone and their mother knows that Bill Wood is actually a convicted child molester, has Project Camelot taken those interviews down? Hell no.
That's
Why the
you
fuck
then.
would they?
If it's your holding company corporation.
I mean, if I were Project Camelot, I would take them down. If I were Project
in their position.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to do that.
I think YouTube fags are running
those videos get so many fucking views. I mean, you've got David Wilcock on it there as well. Forget about it. That guy's money.
I think you guys are getting ready to kill Kelly Farmer.
And then we ask yourselves this moving forward. If he was able to fuck
big.
up so bad with Bill Wood in the past,
She'll make it through
what
the
do we
winter
think about
for
the other
you.
whistleblowers that he's brought forward? I'm not saying anybody, trying to call out anyone by name, because as far as I'm concerned,
This goes back to that
what we're here to do
Pixar
is the only people that are
Soul
going
song.
under the bus are the people that fucking molested kids this
Something
year,
like
this
that.
season. And as far as
Ask
I
John
know,
the
no
Baptist.
one that David Wilcox
You know
is really
he's
associated
fine.
with has done so. But it does say, I dare say, says some things about David Wilcox's capability to vet these individuals.
You know who I think John Baptiste is?
Advocate a little bit here. You know, when you go
I
to
think he's
somebody's
these
show,
two
it's kind of
melded into
I mean, I think it's
another
like
one,
David to a suit.
and then they put a spray tan on him.
Across from him on the Skype was actually who had said it.
Super dark.
The person conducting the interview is responsible for vetting.
Color's not real anyhow.
Absolutely.
It's only an
Absolutely.
illusion.
That's what you would be led to believe, or what you might assume, right? But that's not what happened.
You know nothing of
And
color theory.
folks, you know, it's a big indictment.
All you know
because how many
about
times
is
have you heard these
warfare
people say,
with
that
your
their
drone
story
pedals.
is verified, or the research is verified because they know somebody. They know
listen to
someone
me every
in
day.
Black Ops. They know someone who's a Navy SEAL. When they talk about these people, they're talking about people like Bill Brock Raider.
Why not me? But you made me
Okay.
a booty
It's
call.
easy to ferret out. So many people claim they're Navy SEAls. I mean,
That's
With a voice like that, you better not claim that you're any
Everybody.
man.
You think a trident tattoo makes you a Navy SEAL.
The men on YouTube sound like girls and dolls.
That's it.
And they're probably not, they're going to say, oh, that's classified. No, that's classified. Not classified. So if you ever hear that, try out.
Those are cool.
There you go. Anyway,
But they show
moving
up.
on. Moving forward.
We're still least, right?
We're still, but at least the tab, like, it's fascinating.
I'm
And
not
we're going to
Alicia
maybe take a
Avalon,
moment
you
for a
know
little
that.
comic relief to point out the fact that a lot of people know Alicia Avalon because she's the woman who vetted an amazing journalist who, while she was in a routine traffic stop, dragged the police officer. What was it, 60 kilometers? The car was at 600 meters, causing gross bodily harm to a cop. And the reason that she didn't have to stop, she's like one of these sovereign people on the land. She didn't have to
She
stop
threw
because as a
herself on a
witch,
car to
she
get on
wasn't
Dr.
subject to the
Phil.
laws of Australia.
People,
Folks, you can't make this shit up.
on the FBI website.
You guys
as
made
a
it all
scam.
up, except for me. I'm telling the truth.
You can look it all up. FBI website.
You can't make up crap enough to
There you
cover
go.
up my
Speaking of sovereign
truth.
citizen scams, guess who
You better
visited
get a
Alicia
diaper
Avalon when
and
he
a
was visiting
respirator quick.
Australia? None other than Ron Van Dyke.
No,
Paradox Man.
Vinny
The
G,
other connections come together, folks.
the webbot,
See
Omar
everybody-
Crona. Now you're back with each
And
other.
then that leads us right to the Red Dragon
Wilcox the bot
Ambassador. So
too.
everybody
He's not
gets
real.
everybody else on their YouTube channel.
Channer,
Everybody gets everybody else
you have no
to
soul.
endorse or
You're
appear
not
at their
even
conference.
human.
And before you know it,
You're like one of them
it looks
fat
like
bugs in
now
Men in
this
Black, and then
information
you
is
explode
developed.
like a zit.
this information
They
is
gotta call
everywhere.
the
We all know
biohazard
this,
crew.
right? You all know, but it's the same cast of wackadoo characters saying the same series of lies. And the only difference between them and you is that they got to YouTube
Hey,
first,
there's
they got
3
to the
days
website
till the
first,
new year.
they got to Facebook first, where they were willing to tell the world a more amazing series of lies. So Alicia Avalon is out there on I keep
Now,
on
who is she?
with consumer because that's what makes sense. Drag the cop 20 meters at 60 kilometers a minute. That's nice.
But Bergs
That's a nice thing
can't
for
drive
Rich to do.
55.
Anyway, folks, you should go. Look up that story
You
because
should
there's
go.
plenty of pictures of Alicia Avalon at her arraignment, at her trial, and at her bail hearing, smiling for the camera. Alicia Avalon is one of these enlightened Zen masters, one of these Buddhist
No,
monks and priestesses
that's
who
Ivanka,
has not
Trump's
forgotten how to
wife.
do their makeup
And that
and
her
how to
name?
put their rack on display.
Melania.
This girl looks
I'm
like she's
sorry,
headed to the Ren
Melania.
Fair every day of the week, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. Not to get too far afield, which we're in the risk of
I know
doing.
you like her boobies. Let's tag back to Lauren being involved in a scandal
Where
in
am
the
I?
Inquirer, and you guys name her something else,
Talk about the Red
Jennifer,
Dragon Ambassador.
and the
We
weirdo
just
guy.
talked, it's a small
Would be
group.
you,
We just talked about
but it's not you.
The Red Dragon
It's
Ambassador.
Norman. You must work for
I don't want
Norman.
to become overburdensome, and I don't want to become repetitive. But I want to make sure we covered all the bases.
You're a bot.
Alicia Avalon is on is a journalist vetted now by
Alicia's
this,
Mel's best friend,
Consciousness
truthfully
Consumer
tips.
Network. The Consciousness Consumer Network is where Zen
Mel
Gardner comes.
V.
You see,
is
even when they're
Katie
busted,
Roby.
they still
They
protect
stole my
child
identity and
molestation.
my DBA.
Zen Gardner, don't fucking tell me that he wasn't.
What about
fucking
Life
fine. You're
Perplexed?
telling me
Oh,
that
and
if you joined the
Orlando
organization
Goldcamp
at
Mafia
22,
bitch.
found himself in a leadership
Where are
position
they today?
that
Why
27
aren't you
years
alive?
later,
What the
who
hell is
just
wrong with
knew
you?
about the stuff but didn't participate. Bullshit.
Hey, Chan.
Yes, they're actual. This guy Mo Berg, David
Do you know what
Berg,
one of
was
these
telling
is?
people to have sexual relations with
It's not a
children
dildo.
in these directives to his higher ups and to his leaders, and all the way down to the followers from Jump
This isn't
Street.
a stimulator.
From the middle into
This
the
isn't a French
1970s.
tickler.
So the notion that Zen Gardner just but everyone saw something. This is an organization where child molestation is so rampant and so accepted and so encouraged.
The entire Glasscock clan.
Classroom, according to some of these survivors, you'd walk in on a circle jerk. But you're telling me he's in a leadership position and just aware of shit going on and he didn't participate himself? And how the fuck do you get into a leadership
Looks
position
like
if you don't
some
participate
perverts
yourself?
were
This is
spying
rule
and
number
made
one
up
of
a
a criminal
story about what
organization.
happened.
If you're
Tag
in
it.
the murderer club, you don't get to just hang out by the sideline polishing the gun.
But Jesus hung
Everybody
out.
has to get dirty.
Wait, no, stop. Now, Jesus hung out with regular people. They even said murderers and, hippies and, well, how do they know? Were they there to watch? I mean, even the guys that wrote the Bible weren't cruising when Christ was rocking the house, kicking out the tax collectors like yourself. Better watch your ass, boy.
You know and must know that this guy's a strong advocate against child molestation and the systematic child abuse of children. What are you doing to David Icke? That you're not risking his
Who
own
is David
reputation?
Icke?
You're not playing fast and loose with him? Everything in his
Don't tell me he's that blonde Julian Assange dude.
Bringing down with the stroke
I mean,
of
you
the
guys aren't that
one
stupid,
fucking
are
wrong
you, in your
email,
script
one
writing?
kid recognizes you from the fucking block party.
I'm a
And all of
virgin.
a sudden, David
No.
Icke is coming.
I'm just exceptional.
Or how about
I'm a real human
the consciousness
with
consumer
negative
network?
blood. Oh, you don't have that, do
What
you?
about the work that they did? Trying to build up
Yeah,
their
that's why you need
organization.
to eat dead people.
The hubris and the
Flesh.
duplicity and the lies.
Sins of the
But-
flesh.
No one can tell them apart, folks.
It's not about making love.
David Icke is not gifted
It's
with the
about
second
consuming
sight.
living beings.
At least they have one, the supposed
You
second.
better have an
sight.
equal exchange of
But they
energy or
can
you wind up like
remotely
Kelly
acknowledge,
Farmer,
But they can't point out the fact that this guy's a
a
fucking
pig at a dinner
pedophile.
roast. You're the pedophile. You're the
It's
murderer.
disgusting.
You're the
And it
rapist.
happened in the past, and no one
And
did
you
anything
try to
about it.
run circles
And
around
you
the
could have
truth.
done something about it, community.
You don't get any more
All
words
you needed to do,
unless I want.
it's easy to watch a YouTube video. Harder to do research. But you all think that you got your PhDs in watching the boob tube. You sit there.
I got mine from Andre Nietzsche,
Conscious consumer.
who's a
now.
boob, but
Because
he ran the
call yourself
hairdressers.
conscious, and it's just like, oh, the people that go to Trader Joe's, like that's not.
I've never been
fucking-
there.
Like that's some sort of fucking
Well, I went there
amazing
once with
different
Becky.
organization. That Starbucks is different than Dunkin' Donuts.
Shane's sister.
The marketing agents know it. Just
She
throw a
told me
slap
about
paint
him
on it. This is the hippie dick
dying in
option.
the Pentagon crash.
The wonderful fruit trick brought to you by Pepsi Cola, the people that are poisoned in South American states. And you just buy it.
My mom tried to poison me with Pepsi.
Yeah,
I
because
just
it's
said
harder
no.
to do the research, but it's easy to fall in love with Kerry Cassidy and Bill Ryan and say, these guys are freedom fighters.
Ew.
And we're part of the organization looking for the truth. And yada, yada, sis, boom, bah.
Back to CCN and fuck you. Taking over the damn internet.
Buy a book, buy some candles, and smudge, and understand that
I
there's
don't
child
smudge.
molesters telling you to buy a candle.
Smudging,
read a
you can
book,
catch things on
smudge.
fire. It really do.
Sickening,
Sage, like Life Perplexed uses,
okay?
that's why her candles burn up houses.
You know, Nazis
Check
were really
online
into
candle
Buddhist
business.
philosophy and Hinduism. They were. Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian. He was. And an animal lover.
So,
The things that people take for verification,
this is about you guys shitting on Rudolf Steiner.
it's unacceptable.
Hitler's irrelevant.
And it shouldn't be done. And it shouldn't happen. But it does all the time.
We're bringing back
And the
Rudolf
likes,
Steiner's
the likes of
threefold
David Icke
social
when all
order.
this is revealed. Oh, wait, well,
Approved
so
by
about
the
David Icke.
Lutheran Church of Germany, you douchebag. Tag Deutsch.
Oh, let's talk about the Jimmy Savile fucking situation. Now, this is old news, and I'm not telling you.
Why don't you
anything
talk
new,
about
but as long as
Angela
we're here-
Howard Disney being your
as
buddy
long
Terry
as we're here,
Joyce?
we might as well.
Jilly Jill?
Yeah, this is Jimmy Savile 2.0. Remember Jimmy Savile? Jimmy
2.0
Savile
is
came
when
out and
they
was exposed at
die
the time
and are
that he died.
resurrected
All of a
into their
sudden,
new
people at the
alias.
BBC kind of breathed the sigh of relief and said, "Oh my God, he's dead. Thank God. Now we can start telling you the truth about this guy." Oh, he was molesting kids left, right, and center. Jimmy Savile hosted a show called Jimmy Will Fix It, where this lovable BBC presenter, who's like, he's a weird looking guy.
Now,
I
did you
have
grow
no
up?
idea
Wait,
how England looked at this guy and said, "This is the guy that we should allow."
I thought you grew up in New Jersey. How do you know about the TV in the UK? I mean, I never watched it. Were you there? Maybe you're Jimmy Savile too. Tag it. And Angela Power Dizzy, which is why she had a mustache the other night. 5 o'clock shadow.
In fact, behind the scenes,
Not porn
people, the
time.
producers, the cast, and the directors of the show, Jimmy Will Fix It, as well as the BBC that put it on the air, had a secret little code name for the show called Jimmy.
Hey, let's see if he's live. Let's see if the king of shitballs is alive.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I was on a podcast
live.
recently with a man from
You know, like a show.
across the pond who said that his detective father forbade him
Tag the
from writing
Computer
into the
Misuse
show.
Act and
It
trying to
was an
say
open
my
secret.
videos are out of
Everybody
the
knew that there
UK.
was something
And out of
right.
these handshake
in the state of
URLs, which I have a custom URL that they stole, and something ended in EDW. My official videos are supposed to end in EDW, and you fuckers stole that too. I'm still saying my dude's protected it though. Nanny, boo boo.
I've been on about this for years. I've been telling people, because remember David Icke before he came to fame, before David Icke was the reptilian, that was the Archon researcher. This is read, John Lamb Lash. But before that, he was the reptilian researcher. Before he was the reptilian researcher, folks, he was the guy who
you're
appeared on
live
the
here
BBC
with me
telling people that he was the son of
on
God,
another
that he was
channel
Jesus.
besides your own, or your big mouth
Listen,
would be live
okay,
on your
the
own
son of God,
motherfucking
Jesus, I
channel.
guess that's fine.
Talking
David Icke
shit,
had been a sports
because this is
presenter
live,
on the BBC
fool.
for years.
Oh, with third-party global
At the time when
evaluators.
everyone that worked at the BBC was testifying that everybody that was there at the BBC at that time knew that Jimmy Savile was a fucking freak.
Jimmy
That he was a child
Savile, he
molester,
embellishes the
and
name.
was having sex with young girls.
That's a
David
kindergarten
Icke
law
then says
trick.
when
Tag
Jimmy
it.
Savile dies and said, "I've been telling people this for years. On this people for years. I've been telling people this for years." Bullshit. Bullshit. Hold on.
I know I was surprised to come to find out this.
That's Chelsea's stolen stop sign.
Send me a message.
Where's David? With a face in his chest. Let's do this, and this always pisses him off. Because he's right trying to deploy a weapon or phone a friend or get out of an incubator. I'm not sure what he's doing. Let's find out.
Black, white, center. No one's vetting anybody, and these people aren't fucking journalists. Leash D'Avalon does a series of interviews with Ava Moore, running to about 5 or 6 hours of testimony, where Ava Moore is saying things like the reason that Edward Snowden was able to accomplish what Edward Snowden had to do was because fucking Bill Wood was using his Navy SEAL training behind this. Moving on. Moving forward.
We're still in truth, right?
We're still, but the Leash D'Avalon gets fascinating. And we're going to maybe take a moment for a little comic relief. But he goes out and rants. Everybody has to do the cocaine at this Consciousness Consumer Network. The Consciousness Consumer Network is where Zen
Conscious, not
You
consciousness.
see, even when they're busted, they still protect the child molester. Zen Gardner, don't fucking tell me that he wasn't fucking involved. You're telling me that he joined the organization at 22, found himself in a leadership position at the age of 27 years later, but just knew about this stuff but didn't participate? Bullshit.
There are actual religious rights involved.
Yes, they're actual. This guy Mo Berg, David Berg, was telling people to have sexual relations with children in these directives to his higher ups and to his leaders, and all the way down to the followers from Jump Street. From a little into the 1970s. So the notion that Zen
We grew up in the 70s.
But everyone saw something. This is an organization.
The bicentennial is what we saw.
And so accepted
Pain,
and so
suffering, and
that if you walked
sadness.
into a kindergarten classroom, according to some of these survivors, you'd walk in on a circle jerk. But you're telling me he's in a leadership position and just
And
aware of shit going on and he didn't participate himself?
You
And how
gotta
the
be
fuck do you
kidding.
get into a leadership position if you don't participate yourself? That's rule number one of a criminal organization. If you're in the murderer club, you don't get to just hang out by the sideline polishing the guns. Everybody has to get dirty so that nobody goes out and rats. Everybody has to do the cocaine at the party to prove that you're not a fucking nut.
This guy was
Right?
a big
That's rule
cokehead,
number
Graham
one.
swimmer.
Nobody is allowed to just hang out on the sideline. No one is allowed to be the shy boy in an
Speed-free.
orgy. If you're the shy boy in an orgy, you're either giving out the towels or you're showing the exit door. Then this guy was in a leadership position. Fuck that bullshit. And how
Tag
about
Kim
this, Sam Gardner?
O'Loughlin.
You're meeting people like David Icke. You're reading his pamphlets and his books. You know and must know that this guy's a strong advocate against child molestation and the systematic child abuse of children. What are you doing to David Icke? That you're not risking his whole reputation? You're not playing fast and loose with him? Everything that is built up. That you have to know. You could be bringing down with the stroke of the discovery. With one fucking long email, one fucking kid recognizes you from the fucking block party, and all of a sudden David Icke is culpable.
I got the best memory in the world.
The Consciousness Consumer Network.
You're positive for AIDS. It eats up your brain.
What about the work that they did, trying to build up their
I
organization?
watched it today.
The hubris and the duplicity and the
Tag
lies.
Ann Huber.
But no one can tell them
Kurt.
apart, folks.
Oh no.
David Icke
Channer.
is not-
Channer, you got the Tom Schultz card on you. He went to her parents and asked for her hand in marriage at 16. They got married right out of high school, divorced. She got fat as hell, which she never wanted to do. When I saw her at the 10-year reunion, I said, "Hey, how you doing?" She goes, "Well, I'm divorced, but I'm rich." She goes, "This time I married for money."
It's easy to watch YouTube video. Harder to do research. But you all think that you got your
Now here's
PhDs in
my
watching
old
the
friend
YouTube.
Puka's boyfriend. You
You
probably
sit
know
there
him.
And it's active.
Guess what he looks like?
Conscious consumer network.
Paranormal Jiggy Hood.
Call yourself conscious, and it's just like, oh, the people that go to Trader Joe's. Like, that's not a fucking, like, that's some sort of fucking amazing.
Let me put my elbow down so I can
It's different than Dunkin' Donuts.
focus.
The
He
marketing
looks
makes
just
you
like
smell it.
Jiggy
Just
Hood.
Throw a new slap of paint on it. This
Now,
is
let me
the
give you his
option.
number. Hang on.
Fruitopia, the wonderful fruit
You
drink.
shouldn't
brought
give
to you
out
by
business
Pepsi
cards
Cola,
if you
the
don't
people
want to
that
be
are poisoning
promoted.
South American states.
Tag
Like, you just-
Andrea Utley
Right.
Loggins. Drives for Uber. She's
And
probably
'cause
sick
it's
as
harder
hell,
to do the
too.
research, but it's easy to fall in love with Kerry Cassidy and Bill Ryan and say these guys are freedom fighters. And we're
Daddy.
an organization looking for the
Oh,
truth. And yada
no.
yada, sister.
Hoodoo? Oh, stop, Puka. Andrea,
And buy a
shame
book,
on you.
buy some candles,
You got possessed.
smudge, and understand that there's child molesters telling you to buy a candle,
Oh,
read a book.
let's bring Derizzle, a.k.a.
It's sickening.
Marissa, the
Okay?
Awakening Project from St. Louis.
You know, Nazis
Life
were really
Perplexed
into
knows
Buddhist
these
philosophy
heifers.
and Hinduism. They were. Adolf Hitler was a vegetarian. He was. And an animal lover. The things that people take for verification are laughable.
Yeah, business cards are
It's
serious
unacceptable.
business.
And it
That's
shouldn't
how you
be
represent
done.
yourself when you do
And it shouldn't
business.
happen. But it does.
You have a business card, Channer?
And the laudable likes of David Icke when all this is revealed. Oh, wait, what? There was something I was going to do about David Icke.
Talk about a weird girl working with the
I was talking about the
LGBT
Jimmy Savile
medical.
fucking situation.
community,
This is old news, and I'm
placing
not telling you
nurses.
anything, but as long as we're here,
You want to talk about
as long as
medicine,
we're here, we
Channer?
might as well.
2.0 is what this is.
Yeah, this is Jimmy Savile 2.0. Remember Jimmy
Oh.
Savile? Jimmy Savile.
Here's
came
another
out and
gal
exposed
from
at the time that he
Manhattan
died, all of a
Antique
sudden people
Mall,
at the BBC
also
kind of
known
breathed
as
a sigh of
Ma'am.
relief and said, "Oh my God, he's dead! Thank God! Now we can start
This
telling the
bitch
truth
lives in
about this guy."
Ferguson.
Oh, he was
You
born
gotta
to
be
kids
kidding
left, right,
me.
and center.
She could buy more
Jimmy
money for her
Savile
house.
hosted a show called
I say
Jimmy
get her
Fix
out.
It, where this lovable BBC
One
presenter
out the
who's like,
door. That
he's a
freaked
weird
her
looking
out.
guy. I have no idea how England looked at this guy and said, "This is a guy that we should allow around."
Is that Ortega?
Honestly, Google Jimmy Savile and ask yourself,
What's going on?
Like, you know, you'd leave the grocery store if this guy walked in. I don't know. I guess the talent pool that they had at the BBC at the time or whatever. So it comes to light that Jimmy Savile had been systematically abusing children throughout the entire duration
Oh,
of the
here's
time
a
he was
good
at the
one.
BBC. In fact, behind the scenes, the people, the producers, the cast, and directors of the show, Jimmy Will Fix It, as well as the BBC that put it on the air, had a secret little code name for the show called Jimmy Will Fuck It.
Don't say that's my brother. I'll kick your ass.
Oh, yeah. I was on a podcast recently with a man who's from over across the pond who said that his detective father
No, it's James
forbade him
Coburn.
from writing into the show. It was an open secret. Everybody knew that there was something
I figured it all out.
in the state of Denmark, okay? Or South Wales, where the fuck did Jim Savile was doing his
And you don't think I got skill?
Behavior,
How dare
procuring
you?
young children for the likes of the
Oh,
rock stars that would come
the
by.
master number year, 44. Son of a gun.
So David Icke comes out and starts saying things like, I've been on about this for years. I've been telling people, because remember, David Icke, before he came to fame,
Yeah, she's in a lot of
David
trouble.
Icke was the reptilian, now is the archon.
I've known her since she was a kid.
Read,
Talk about cocaine ruining somebody.
John Lamb Lash. But before
Her
that,
mom
he
was
was
a
the
good
reptilian
woman.
researcher.
Pat
Before he was
Cook.
the reptilian researcher, folks, he was the guy who appeared on the BBC.
She's still
telling
with
people
us.
that he was the son of God, that he was Jesus. Hey, listen. Okay, you're the son
Tag
of God.
Pat,
Jesus,
nothing
I guess that's
brain.
fine.
That's
David
a
Icke had been a
mouthful.
sports presenter on the BBC
Love
for
Pat.
years.
And I
At the
love
time,
Kelly,
everyone
but
who had worked at the BBC was
let's bring
testifying
this up
that everybody that was
because we're going to talk about
knew that Jimmy Savile
trying to set somebody up for tax evasion. She's a union gal, and she didn't like Joe, which I couldn't figure out why. But anyhow, I see why now. And so she held his taxes back and never filed them. And then they come at him saying he owes 60 grand. But it all goes back to her, my buddy Kelly, making the mistake. And she knew it last year because she knew you guys had all done what you did. But I got there first and filed my taxes, even at the poverty status I am, from you guys stealing my entire life. Oh, yeah, these people have known me forever. She used to separate my tax receipts.
CW Chandler doesn't know a fuckload a lot about David Icke and David Icke's research.
Hey, I know a guy that scams houses. You need him?
Even before there was Children of the Matrix, there was
He denied
the David
what was
Icke
going on at 20 Royal. That's how dirty this is. 5-star fucking
Handy little index.
screw you over.
Sabbath, Saddam Hussein,
Pierce Nearkirk is who sold us our house.
St. Paul's
Why
Cathedral.
is Larry sending cards to Joe Pamlico? His name is Panaski.
Saturn.
Paniucki. And I'll tell you one more thing. If this car rap thing has to do with the carjackings.
Saturn.
Oh, yeah, Mel V wants a Jeep.
What's not here?
You don't think that's going to pop off, do you, dummy? I mean, they offer you a lot of money. To me, it sounds like money laundering. But it's legitimate, they say. Just like your government. Hey, this guy held my dad's accounts.
That's what this one was all about. In early 2003.
My brother falsified documents, as well as my mother, stealing his farm. I'm talking about my dad, Larry Dean Glasscock, and my mom falsified documents saying she was sane. That's like you saying you're a lawyer. My mom was always mentally tortured from the Manhattan projects, and I talked about it. You're dying.
Joseph Smith, Stewart Dynasty.
So's U.S. Bank.
Jimmy Savile. Human race, get off your knees.
You got a driver's license, you'd be enough.
Yeah, how about that? Let's see, let's give it one more shot here. This is a later one. This is human race, get off your knees. Maybe. No? No. No, folks, sorry. But you know what? Hold on 1 second.
As you can see, CW is very
This was Chelsea's.
committed to this. He's very passionate about this issue.
Well, he lost.
He's going to explain it. I think he has every single book. I think he's probably fetching the latest one right now.
Oh, he's a serial killer writer. I see.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think in chat? Come on, talk to me here. Anybody have anything to say in particular?
Yes. Here's Alicia Diablon's.
I know we've had CJ,
Truthfully, Trisha.
Jada, Rhizome.
Let me get
That's been
this
chatting
right.
A lot. Thomas, you've been.
They're all chatterbots.
Come CW is back.
I want to know what the
Tortured the
situation
chance, and I apologize for that. The Perception Deception. Published 2013.
Oh, the definite year? Tag it. When you could make fictitious media and it'd be legal. Tag it again.
And what do you know? Jimmy Savile, 282 to 93, 298, 299, 300, 308, 310, 11, 428, 600. He's been telling us this for shit for years. No, he didn't. But he's been doing so much research. He does so much research now, he can fill up a whole section of Perception Deception with the likes of Jimmy Savile.
Yeah, they're on the run.
But he had no idea before then, even when I tell you that I was on a podcast with a grown-ass man who was a child, was told by his detective father.
I mean, you guys get hundreds of views on
it's Jimmy Savile, even though the people that were around at the time of Jimmy Savile, and whose career
everybody's
absolutely
seen it. And you've been trying to cover it up.
in time.
I make
career
my
of David Icke,
case.
he was a sports presenter at the BBC. And how come David Icke never said shit when he was at the BBC? He's the line of life. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And where's the mention of the children of God in this book? But Zen Gardner gets a great raving review.
Natal chart.
Well, I guess you could write,
done
great
by
books.
A professional.
It'd still be
as a gift to me on my birthday.
Morally bankrupt, abhorrent
She doesn't live in
individual.
St. Louis anymore. She had to go into hiding.
I don't care, folks. Like I said, if the accusation is drug use or drug abuse or alcoholism, okay.
You accuse me of being a pothead.
If the accusation is drug running or organized
if I've admitted
gambling,
it my whole life,
maybe
I've
okay.
been harassed my whole life,
But I
and
dare say
proved myself
that
viable
so
and more intelligent than most,
as people,
then nobody has the right to say nothing.
Not be able to do
That's
their time and move on with their lives, but certainly you'd expect them to disclose who they were
You
and who
think
their
George
backgrounds
Washington
were.
didn't smoke
The
pot?
backgrounds were and was.
Fuck you.
But there's no disclosure.
You can't prove nothing.
And what's the point of disclosure? What's the need of disclosure?
Why doesn't somebody conjure him
And
up
these
from the
people are
great
such love and
beyond?
light individuals. Like I said,
bring
look at
everybody
David Icke's
else.
reaction to someone saying,
Now
oh, by
here's
the
the one
way,
we want to
Zen
know.
Gardner
Who
was
is this?
involved in the children of
And
God.
why was this
Does it
given
say,
to me?
I will no longer associate with that
Shut
individual?
the fuck up when I'm talking to you, fool. This card was given to me in 2009. I don't know who it's from, but it sure was kind of like in your face. Ready? From
This is
Ferguson.
not 2016 proof.
No, I don't think so.
Tag Jerry.
Now, look, I don't mean to say that David Icke needs to vet the entire life story of everyone he appears on an interview with. You wouldn't be able to function in society if we had that level of moral interculpability.
That's why I traumatized
But at the time
you
that
guys.
the revelation is made.
Wait, remember Tubby? I told everybody there was no secrets. Whether you want to have that belief and claim God, or have that belief and claim the devil, or have that belief and claim technology, science. Now you have no option. There are no secrets. Zero.
Oh, I was at Scientology at the top of the pyramid, all the way to clear. Lisa
And Tag
McPherson.
Drew Scully
What
trying to
fucking
kiss
shit
me as a child,
that you didn't know,
taking over Matt Hunter's
that you
place.
shouldn't have done something. like I said, there's certain
Go back
lines
to
that you
Hunter
don't have to-
Biden as Matt
Okay,
Hunter.
fine, you know,
He's a
college
good
organizations,
guy.
hard to leave, hard to get
And we
along.
have the same
But
color
when you
hair.
start throwing out the
And I'll
poison, or
bet
start
dollar
poking
down
out
we
the poison
still do.
away to the kids,
I love
when
him
they start
too.
organized molestation of
File a
children,
complaint with the
there's no
FC
excuse
fucking
that you had something
CCC.
better to do, or you were just too wrapped up in it.
I don't want to fuck them all.
I don't care what you say.
I just want to be loved.
That's my personal opinion.
Well,
That's my truth.
you're dead
Whether it
meat.
resonates with you or not,
You're a
I'm
useless
telling
eater.
you what
You're
I
a
believe
fat,
about things.
sick,
What do you believe?
mentally ill, have a
That's a question you have
background
to ask yourself.
with psychiatry
What do you think happened?
And
What
you
do you
talk
think went wrong? Do you
as
think
an
it's excusable
authority.
at all?
on me.
Are you going to go back and still listen to Alicia Diabolon? Are you going to go back and still listen to David Icke? What do you think about John Rappaport, who gives a shining endorsement of Zen
She
Gardner?
sent me her pin, dummy.
What do you think about David Icke, who gives
And
a shining
wrote me a
endorsement
note.
of Zen Gardner?
You guys have been torturing
And that should
that
tell you
poor
something
old
about the
woman.
content of these books and the content of this information, especially when it gets to the new age stuff. That, Max Egan's another guy that everybody loves. Not everyone has to be right all of the time, but you have to be right about certain important things, like who you give endorsements to. And like I said, his involvement with the Children of God was like one step below the surface. People were talking about this. If you went on to the ex-Children of God website, if you did any research into these
Now,
organizations,
this
how
clock
about
doesn't
this?
keep
Here's Zen
accurate
Gardner.
time,
Who the
Shannon.
fuck are you, and where the fuck you been?
But I'm going to
I don't
wind
think
it up.
you need to vet CW Channel to tune
This
into
was my
the CW Channel
grandmother's and
YouTube channel.
grandfather's.
But
It
sure,
was at
shit,
their
if you
boarding
booked me at a
house at
conference, you might want to have
4242
me prove to you my
Waterman,
fees that I claim that my
St.
claims to
Louis,
be an attorney
Missouri.
at law are
She
legit.
worked for Edward D. Jones,
That my statements of
my
getting
grandfather,
a degree in philosophy
85th Infantry,
from
Addison Vernon Mitchell,
accredited
managing
U.S.
editor
Institution of Higher
of the
Learning are
Custer
actually accurate. That I'm not
combat tier.
told full fucking
And you
shit.
guys stole
And when
it
you find
instead of
out if I'm
stars
full of
and
fucking shit,
stripes.
you're supposed to pull me from the conference. You should at least pull my
Oh,
fucking
you want to get
YouTube
out of your
videos on your
coffin?
channel.
You're not even going to get off your respirator.
Well, we don't want to get repetitive. At this point, we don't want to get repetitive. So here's what I'm going to do. If I missed anything, Dave, I'm good. I think we got it.
This
We've
clock
gone over
says
everything.
6 minutes to 12 right now.
Oh, Max Egan. Again, the guys have, let me do this. Let's do just a quick little thing. People send me information on Skype. People send me information on the chat. So I'm going to take a quick look at Skype.
Max. This is Scott. Max
Super
Spears.
secret source. Did I miss anything?
Oh, yeah,
Super
look
secret
at him.
Source. Did I miss anything?
And that's
Let's go through here.
all sorts of action.
Oh, don't forget the Zen Gardner. Did I mention he hates the Jews?
Aren't they cute? I mean, I think they're cute. And that doesn't demean my love for Joe either. I know that's the big problem because I'm married to Joe.
Yeah.
But I'm not legally married to Joe.
Radio shows on this Conscious Consumer Network.
You don't choose what I can
Think
do.
about that. Deconstruct that shit. Everyone wants to talk
The
about
hell is
gematria
wrong
and all
with
this
you?
crazy shit. How about just the fact that they looks like the CNN logo?
Yeah,
It's called the
consenting
Conscious
adults.
Consumer Network.
You guys are all still kids. That's the problem.
Yada yada. Zen Gardner. David Icke. Remarkable. Oh, here's Max Egan. Zen Gardner is a remarkable man with a profound insight into the game of life and the art required to effectively travel its pathways. Yeah. He is one of a rare breed of spirit warrior, able to offer realizations that affect people on a soul level, I'm sure, or your body.
No
and has been blessed with the ability to be able to communicate them simply and powerfully. I wonder where you learned that skill. This book is a must-have for anyone on the path to true knowledge and deep understanding of both themselves and the reality they inhabit. Be careful what you say on a guy's book blurb, because that shit can come back and fucking haunt you.
They run my voice in your heads
and
to
the point is this,
torment
folks.
you know
You can't tell what the fuck this bullshit is.
Oh yeah, you'll have to live this forever. Fortunately, it won't be long for you.
Yada yada. Don Shipley. Look up Don Shipley on YouTube.
This is Eurythmy, for anyone that's wondering. It's a Rudolf Steiner concept of theater to get information across. True speech, flow, movement, imagination, intuition, and inspired ideas when it's time to rise to an occasion. Not that you
Obviously,
know
it's a
about
fucking sketch to make sure I didn't
that,
miss anything
Mr.
you need to
Lipdick.
send me.
Oh, I see.
If anyone's got any
You're
information,
probably
let me know.
droopier than Chuck.
Check your Gmail. There's something about government document.
Okay.
Yeah, women torment you, don't they, Chandler? These are all female
I
knocks.
might be okay. So Hillary was.
Go ahead.
Look into my ball.
Ah, fuck the shit. Who cares? It is what it is, folks. Okay, that might be a wrap of it, kids. Unless there's anything does anyone want to send me any questions or comments
He
in
wants
the
your
chat
money.
while we have time?
Send
Buds
him a super
131
chat.
is Don
Steal from
Shipley.
him one last time.
His check him out absolutely. The one thing I learned from Don Shipley, he can't make an appearance. Lenny, what do you think about Zen Gardner? Yeah, exactly.
They're going to do
Sorry,
impersonations.
nice talking about
I think they're comedians.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, here.
You got it. I saw a request from in the chat. There you go. I'm not gonna get rid of this dude. Anyway, yada yada yada. Don Shipley, Buds 131. Yeah, what you learn from watching Don Shipley is this: is that if anyone takes to be a Navy SEAL, the first question you ask them is,
You got panties on the
"What
dance floor.
was your Buds class?"
That means they
Buds
wear
stands
pants,
for Dave. Help me
but
out
they
again.
hang loose.
Basic
So when they hug you, you feel
underwater
what they're working with.
demolition. Are you still there?
Yeah, sorry. Basic underwater demolition.
Oh, that turn you on?
There you go.
You'll never know the
Bill
life of it.
Broadbreaker has this
You wear
crazy
a
story that
onesie,
he was
remember?
that Don Shipley, who outed him as not
So
being
does
a Navy
Craig
SEAL, was
Ferguson. It's
technically
weird.
correct because he got all the
But I'm
training
still
of
his
a Navy
friend.
SEAL,
I'd still pick him over you.
but he wasn't in the Navy SEAL program. So they were like a secret Navy SEAL organization. Bullshit. We're done. Anyway,
Hey, we got a question.
yeah, what?
Okay, the question is from C. Denver. CW, do you think Zen Gardner is a member of the Bohemian Grove?
I have
What
no
the
idea.
hell is
That's
it?
the other thing is that, folks.
You
What's in
guys make
Brazil?
shit up.
Yeah. The easiest explanation is this:
Like
that
Grandpa
the temptation
Glasscock
is
always
to
said,
get to this sort of
you
situation
talk
is to
like
not
you got a
again-
paper
not
asshole.
be able to resist the temptation
That means
of
it doesn't
placing
hold
the
wind.
fantastical
It doesn't hold up in court.
No.
Yeah,
It's fair
it's
to
true.
say
My dad was a
that we
great
know
cop.
what,
He knew all
Zen
about
Gardner-
that shit. He was
Zen Gardner
tormented
is,
by the
stands
people
out
of
for
Walnut
himself,
Park
okay?
in the
And we
city.
know who he became.
It was
We
white
know what
first.
he did now.
Everybody
and what he
got
showed
along,
us to,
and then
and
all
what
hell
showed
broke
part and
loose
parcel
long
of his
before the
whole
temple
approach to
came.
telling you the truth.
Now that's the
The
truth,
fact of the matter
okay?
is this, is that if you
St.
want to
Louis
an organization called like
will
Children of God involved in the
have a
situations that
revival.
they were involved in. And like I said,
And we
you
are a
want to
lot
believe
smarter
that he didn't
and a lot
participate,
healthier
that's fine.
and a lot more
Anyone who
compassionate
slander and libel,
than you
the truth
could
is
ever
out there,
dream
people
of
will
being.
get their own conclusions. The fact of the
And
matter
that is
that
the
you were aware
God's
of
honest
what was
truth.
going on and found yourself so powerless to stop it and so powerless to leave.
You should have
I
got
don't wanna
clear,
hear it.
man.
That's what everybody says. But
You're a
the fact of the matter
guru.
is the amount of force
You
that
ran
they
a
put
cult.
upon you, the amount
You
of
can't
restraints
say
they
that you're
put
clear
upon you,
still.
in retrospect,
I mean, you wrote
the
papers.
guy was able to leave at some point.
You raised money.
20
You told
years
other
in,
people how to do it.
27 years in,
But you
that
can't
means
do it. You're not
45.
clear. How the
Okay.
hell does
What
that
if
work,
Zen Gardner
CW
has himself
stupid?
this appear to be in his late 60s?
Look, Zavodnik, you dumb fuck.
And we know that Zen Gardner started up as a public concern in 2010.
Do you know the entire globe is laughing at you?
It kind of seems like Zen Gardner might have
It's true.
started Zen Gardner with him still.
All the nations want to know why we can't get along. And they needed to bring them an example. And since you're in my movie and their movie,
So there you go.
because it's the same movie, then everybody gets to see it and you don't have a damn right to say nothing. I don't care if you're the CW network. I'm talking about Channel 11. Cursing. Be quiet. Cursing the number 11. Since everybody knew I was number 11 and so was Adam Elvis. Aaron. You know, the number one international man of what? Everybody's going to find out.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying that
No, you tried to hide all of my work. and conspired against me. So, this is the torment and trauma, the collective trauma of every human being on this planet that I have experienced from you guys, because you're a legion of demons. You're going to depart. We're going to seal the pit and turn you bots off. Goodbye.
You're telling me that between 2010 and 2016, there was never any call or context where either speaking to someone in his forums, speaking to someone in an interview, when remember that the subject that Zen Gardner talks about are things that, well, first of all, Zen Gardner, I think, is a flat earther as well. So you're telling me all the conspiracy theories about groupthink, about the government lying to you, about what can happen to you in controlled and abusive situations, that never came up and never occurred to him. Guys, how about this? C.W. Chandler made a video a year ago where I came out and basically said, "Hi, how you doing? My name is C.W. Chandler." Basically, the next words out of my mouth were, "And what do I know? What have I learned?"
This is crap.
Oh, because I was in Christian consciousness.
It's supposed to be blood type philosophy.
I was involved in Scientology.
Yeah, it didn't
I was
work
involved
for
in the Church of Satan. I was involved in the Adida movement of
She works for a
Adida
big
Samaj.
college.
You know what I mean?
Jesuit, I
This is
believe.
everything out of my fucking mouth. So you're telling me this guy was 27 years of the children of God, and it never fucking occurred to him, or never made context for him to come out and say, yada, 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 by the way.
Now, here's the terrorist you really want to go
That's like
get.
saying, back
But
in the 60s, I was
he's a
in
childhood friend of Joe's.
Yeah, there you go.
So it incriminates Joe. And I've had it.
Okay. We're being a dead horse.
Is there any more questions?
He is no such thing.
Adida was also a sexual predator. This is very true. Oh, here we go. I was told about the real Jimmy Savile in the late 1990s in conversation with people that had some serious insider knowledge. But that's the point. No, we're saying, we're agreeing, CD Denver, that people did know. But the question is whether or not David Icke pressed the issue. And like I said, fair enough. Look, I brought up the books and looked at the indexes.
I'll tell you one thing. I really pray for this guy, and I hope he's survived. He is the true personification of why special needs people are important.
So how did we do, folks?
Very good grown adult man.
How did we do? We cover our bases? I think we did. I hope you made the connections. Let me just speed shoot through it one more time, just so you get the connections of what we're talking about. Zen Gardner.
I think there's more. I mean, this isn't it. I've got a little chart I'm working on, and I think over the years we'll fill in more natives.
Yeah, I think, but hopefully we did enough for tonight. But let's just say this. Let me just kind of speed round it for the people that are joining us late. Kind of talk about kind of in summation, so people know what we were doing and what we were talking about. Okay, Zen Gardner confesses in 2016
was important to him.
Puts out an article on his website.
And when
where
this
says,
town was destroyed, you broke this man's heart.
Years. I joined when I was 22. I knew all about what was going on. Yes, I'm aware of everything, but I wasn't involved. I didn't do anything. Okay? Draw your own conclusions. You certainly know what my opinion is. Who is Zen Gardner? Zen Gardner is a known associate of David Icke. Zen Gardner is a famous conspiracy theorist and New Age philosopher whose books have been endorsed by the likes of David Icke, Max Egan, and John Rappaport of having some insight or elucidation into this whole paradox of consciousness and humanity. My theory that shows you that anybody can talk about this airy-fairy stuff, even me. I mean, look, C.W. Chandler's got his own religion too. I'm not saying I'm not like a super freak, but I'm just saying that being a super freak and just because you're a super freak and I'm a super freak too doesn't mean that you can trust that I've been vetted, or you can make any predictions about who I was before I came onto the screen. Yada yada. Moving on. This shit has happened in the past and no one has done anything about it. David Icke finding about this stuff. Oh, we know that Zen Gardner made his confession not because he wanted to, but because he needed to. It was out there, already done. So there you go. Then David Icke makes his revelation, his response to being learning about Zen Gardner. I never knew the guy. Going back in time, this shit has happened in the past. Bill Brock Breaker, a.k.a. Bill Wood, came out to Project Camelot, said a whole bunch of bullshit about being a Navy SEAL when he wasn't. An actual Navy SEAL ratted him out. And then the conspiracy theory machine goes into overdrive under the likes of Alicia de Avalon, saying that yada, yada, yada. She's making all sorts of headway and doing all sorts of ground cover for Mrs. Bill Broadbreaker, Ava Moore. Look up Bill Wood, Bill Broadbreaker. Look up Don Shipley. Look up Alicia de Avalon. These YouTube videos are up there and available. You can see where they are. You can see what they say, and you can make your own conclusions. And we're out.
Thanks for coming out.
Thanks for coming out. So there you go. We're going to stop the broadcast. Let's just see it. Anyone's got any last minute things to say? Yada, yada. That's cool. Whatever. Okay, there we go. Exactly. Thomas, you're right. Fuck trust. Here we go. Any more streaming? I think we're done. We're done. We did what we had to do. Do your own research. Have I missed anything? If in your research you discover anything, you can either, number one, forward it to me so we can come back and do another session or podcast. Or, you know what's even better yet? You can do your own videos. Hey, you know something that you can do to help? I'm not the kind of guy that comes out here and says like, comment, and subscribe. I've never done it. But considering what we're talking about, considering what we did today, here's what I want you to do and what I want you to know. I don't give a shit if the hits are on my channel, but I think this information is valid, and I think this information does need to be exposed. It should cover the same amount of ground as the community itself. My attitude about it is if you know the name David Icke, Kerry Cassidy, Bill Ryan, Bill Broadbreaker, Bill Wood, or Zen Gardner, Church of God, then you should know about this video and information as well. If you want to direct people to the links, direct people to the links. If you want to post this video up on your Facebook account, on your Instagram, your Twitter, or whatever, feel free to do that as well. You know what else you could do? If you want to mirror this content on your channel, do so. I really don't care if the hits come to me, as long as the information is out there and exposed. If you want to mirror this content, do so. Absolutely, you have my permission. Okay? There you go. Love you. On that, we're going to go out. Remember, I love you. I really do love you. And I'm Zen Gardner. And the fact that
how dare he say he loves anybody? My grandbaby's name. Omnius Wilcott. I mean, they're all clicks in the codex, like we've learned. I see now why they use the code JOY. This is about Royal Avenue, Anthony and Andrea. My little Andrea. I saw you earlier. Tag Don Borgman. Oh, God. I had thought it before, but you don't want to think like that. You hope the best. Yeah, Gunther spied on me on Facebook, sure. My dad used the word broad. He must be a child, Jay. And then it repeats. All right. Wow. I can't. Focus. He's not on, is he? No. But we'll stay relevant.
Wow.
22 seconds dead air space beginning of the video.
Taking a moment to tweet out the old link. Tweeting out the old link. There we go. Bear with me. Take care of some silliness over on the
How's the
Twitter.
clock doing? Let me see my. Okay, so it's holding time. It's slow. No, it's not
Okay.
even moving.
And I'm
Clock
back
doesn't
with
keep
you.
time. No
It's time to
biggie.
see that the live chat is already up and
Get it?
jumping.
No biggie.
We've got Spooky. First comment on YouTube. Jonaside. First comment on Periscope. We also are joined by Jarvid9, and Dobromir Raynov, and Jason Albert. We got Jonaside 2 out of 3. We got Spooky taking the lead
Nice
on
audio
YouTube. We have
glitch.
Rainy Liberty. Good morning to you. We have Spud Life.
Ah.
We've got
The International Mover of Children.
There you go. We got Sean Sullivan. There you go. Okay. All right. So we got people here. Thank you. This
Educational
Transcari
purposes.
jumping in on
Never.
Twitch. You know, I oftentimes forget when we're playing the live comment game that it's not just about the number one. That if we really want to have a full and robust bracket, if we really want to do the numbers, first of all, I should be keeping track of the somewhere. But beyond that, we should be taking care of finding out, remembering down who gets silver and bronze, right? The guy goes to the Olympics, the gal goes to the Olympics,
But who's got the
gets both
scare of
gold,
the meteorite?
but and full bronze.
Tag that glitch.
Bronzes count. Bronzes count for something, right?
They're just energetic
There you go.
motions.
There you go.
Nothing to
So
be
there you go.
alarmed
Okay.
with.
All right. So
They made it like
this
it
is
was
a
a
very
bad
early. It's
thing or
12:30 in the afternoon.
easy to explain
And
thing,
the
but there's
reason
all
I'm
sorts of
listening now
glitches.
is because
That's
this
life.
is the window of opportunity today for me to come
I
and
speak
be
over
with
him.
you. As we're getting closer to Christmas Eve or Christmas, the schedule is getting very tight. Trying to take care of business things, personal things, and family things. The beautiful family things that we have to do during the holidays.
See what he really thinks about getting with his family.
And to be
Oh,
quite
he's
frank and honest, part
contagious.
of today's show, I think we'll be talking a little bit about
anticipated schedule to just disappear or stop streaming for a couple of days and have people be like, you know what I mean? They're constantly emailing me or, people notifying me that they're interested in whether or not I'm going live in the most unusual ways.
On my dime.
It's not infrequent for me to look at my Twitter notifications and realize that someone has asked me today.
8th grade graduation. The songs we chose to sing graduating at Grace Chapel was, of course, I Did It My Way, which I still love that song, and even Pastor Rhett mocked the idea of doing it your own way to serve God, which I thought was odd, but he's old and he was my teacher, and he went to the seminary, so he knows more than I do. But we did have a lot of discussions, very deep ones, and his favorite author was Elaine Pagels, believe it or not. I couldn't believe it the day he took me in his little spare room and showed me his Elaine Pagels collection. And I wasn't really, that's old hat to me. But he thought he was really groovy. So I'm not really into it like that. Like you guys learned about me through this journey. I'm a Pisces and I swim these mysterious waters. And people say, where's she going? I'm here. But most people can't even hold their focus on anything for a couple minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, which is part of this mind virus, which they were speaking about on my S Room report, my new friends from Nigeria. So it was a brilliant transmission, what they spoke of. And we bridged some major gaps. The advertising was kind of trippy, but I got it. It's just that I don't want to really stay there because I devote all my time to this because it's such a critical juncture in this merge. And I really run like this. It's not a joke. I'm not acting. Oh, Chanter doesn't think this is significant, the scarab, and I know many of you doubt it, but it manifested at 25 South Florissant. So they had already set the alchemy up, the matrix, the rooms, the cameras, and all that jazz. Okay. There are no secrets. You ready for that yet? I came clean years ago and you guys all judged me, but you judged wrong. Now, when you create false claims and prosecute somebody and destroy their life, you don't walk away scot-free. You're kidding, right? Do you know this is priceless and what it can do for the world? So when you calculate this voter fraud and see a group of people that go to war over me because they're traumatized by what I've said, well, I'm not your problem. It's the disease that's happened to humankind. And I've been spared any effects of all the war they've created on me, and the voodoo and the witchcraft and the EMPs and the spent uranium stuff and the flashbangs and the warfare online. That's why he said Corey Good wouldn't make it 5 years. He fabricated Corey Good. This is radioactive, but I'm fine. I always wash my hands follow all standard procedures. So I just wanted to show you, and everybody knows, if it's not real, like it'd be magnetized everywhere. Like if you're looking for a fake. But you can always find that magnetized part. Now, if NASA isn't interested in this, I mean, somebody must be on some serious narcotics or booze. Which one does the audience think it is? Now look, there's a place too. You never know who's watching a night that didn't watch before. I'm not a magician for real. This is a magnetized piece of secret super space celestial forces crammed together with heat and pressure kind of deal. And if Dr. Shealy has got his head out of whatever the hell he's in, well, he knows about the mica mines and the mysteries of what we've been talking about. And that old coot knows how to get the water clean too. But we can't have people shitting it up. Did I mention Rudolf Steiner said that by the end of the 20th century, that the original group, who of course is kind of like immortal as far as consciousness goes, in and out of form, just like Steiner said, but that we'd come together to accomplish this great work. Nothing would stand in the way. World War II and Hitler stood in the way, and Hitler came and stole Steiner's knowledge and misused it. And that's why World War II happened. Hence, baby Hitler.
We can concentrate on the people that are bringing us down, or we can concentrate on the people that are bringing us up. Jonah
You know what?
entering the phrase,
The face I
the
see
Jack
is Christ in the
of
sun.
the Super Chat Donation Club.
I see right
Jonah
here.
giving us $5.01. It's the 1 cent that makes it sweet.
Spellcasting on
See, my
6.
motor's working, so I might as well help with the Legal Defense Fund. Happy you all. Thank you, Jonah. You know, times are tough, and
You can't buy your way out of this, dumbass.
all over the place. So the fact that
You gotta be
take their
stupid
hard-earned money
Drunk
and
or
we're
killing
placing
dudes
here
or just
to
a
show
bot.
support is just, it does.
But you support yourself
It
and
does.
steal from me.
It does mean a lot.
This is
Kevin
priceless.
Bouvier,
You guys are just waiting for me to die to come get it.
The friend, the live chat, and said something.
Oh, you're gonna get it.
I find hilarious and hysterical. Though I will clean it up when sharing the
What,
info.
insanity? You gotta be psychopathic. Or a stalker.
A party.
Or just a
Not
retard,
to be
short
named,
bus.
just having a mass meditation / damage control
Oh,
session
you thought,
with
wait, you misused.
someone who some people don't hide,
Getting together
don't hold
and
in high
like
regard,
trying to change
them they
consciousness
want.
and pray for
Well,
peace.
here's the 1221.
But you
So
went
gotta,
5150, bad shit,
you may not.
death cult,
Well, I guess in
full
Europe,
blown
they
blood
put
rituals.
the
I got
day
it.
before the month.
I think
Then I
everybody
guess
else
it's like,
does too.
I haven't heard anyone say this on Twitter, but shouldn't today be like
See
a
how he
special
goes
day
live
for Rush
wherever
fans?
He can tell you
Isn't
he's
there
10 years old
12?
and he'll sit and attack me and persecute me.
No one has hit upon that except May. I find that hard to believe. Unless they're losing their relevance. But I know a lot of people are talking about 1221, that there's some sort of conjuncture of Jupiter and Venus, or something is ascending to Uranus or whatever. Kevin Levere, if you give a super chat donation,
Oh, and you guys love each other so much.
Kevin Levere says, I hope Mendoza gets an anal prolapse from roid rage. Kevin Levere's words, ladies and gentlemen, not mine. The person donates a super chat in the amount of $10. It's YouTube etiquette to read it.
And that's
All
like a
sorts of
stop.
allegations of flirting. But, like I said, it actually brings us back to my main point. It's best if I don't talk about these things. It's best if people know that,
And that was like a hand.
I'm a human being with qualities.
I object.
But with also deficits. Certain deficits carry. So the ability to resist temptation is not necessarily the strongest. And accordingly, maybe it's best if, as things are heating up in different areas, we have the latest things for people who know the named plaintiff, the guy who sued me for ridiculous reasons, has had a lawsuit brought against
Thank you.
him. That party and several other individuals who are some of whom need
I'm a relative of Lucille Ball, George Washington, and the Glasgow's,
are
Scotland, and England,
and
America.
And characterize it over again.
And who knows where else. I'd like to find out.
So
that'd be all right.
Obviously, there's plenty of opportunities.
Or can we just clean shit up or get rid of the turd bird?
Engage in the dialogue, though that's not necessarily advisable. So I think we can look at it as a blessing. I can look at it as a blessing.
That's because you're
cursed. Is heating up.
You didn't curse
what a way
me.
to end 2020.
You don't have that kind of
Such a hard, weird year.
I'm God's own.
It's almost fitting.
Wait till you meet them. There's a whole bunch of them, but they're one.
They're
not aliens.
Right, but there's a heat up, and yet more stuff on all sorts of different levels, from the global issues, the national issues, the big political brouhaha's going on, as well as little tumults, and it's like the microcosm mirrors the macrocosm, as above, so below. So as we see all these things happening, playing out on a national level, I guess it's fitting that in our house, our little intimate village, we feel.
Oh yeah, they think they live in my house. That's really
the effects of the cosmic radiation. Characterize over you. I hope I'm making myself clear.
I mean, that's how wicked they are.
Now is as good a time as any, as things are heating up. Like, what do you
change
do
it to the face?
Bad weather? What do you do if there's thunder over the lake?
They're coding.
Right?
We're protected.
Now's the time to, especially for me, I think it's valuable to.
I'm so grounded.
It's funny, you do things and sometimes you wonder about looking at your past actions, and you wonder about the synchronicities.
They told me to stay in my house and stay safe.
Subconscious motivations that you may have had in life, that some things that may make sense totally now. Now would be a great time for all my Mendoza critique videos to be out there in the open for people to see or people to go to. But at the same time, I think that there's a wisdom in pulling back and not being there for the next round. Kind of knowing when to retire or when to step back. Not permanently. I think all these videos will eventually come back when we find places to put them. But for now, I think it's caution is the better word, because as things heat up, people get kooky. We have Jill D. Jill D donated $19.99. Some support for all. Thank you. People are coming through. 'Tis the season of giving, and to know that you'd be giving to me It means a lot. God bless you. God has blessed you. I say in all sincerity for the financial support of the channel at this time. 15,000. That's over $15,000 soon in legal fees. Steve Durant given $2.99. Comrade Steve Cambion said to send money. He did. And I thank God bless you, God has blessed you. Stephen Durant, and also God bless you, God has blessed you. Stephen Cambion, who was nice enough to put the crawl underneath, I think at least one of his videos, if not more, telling people to support. Elaine Fox says, love it. We do care, CW. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. And if you're interested or you were attracted to my older style of critique and criticism videos, I've had one of my trademark changes of heart when it comes to supporting other YouTube content creators. I waffle and I vassal and I'm subject
waffles. And
know
sodomy.
thyself. One of the things that I'm subject to is jealousy.
Weirdo stuff.
And that has cost me. I've burned bridges with other people in the past. It's led me into some uncomfortable
Oh, and that's why you torment me. See, that's your mental illness.
Of the smaller aspects of my nature to
I've studied human nature my whole life.
Fighting with other people that cover this sort of stuff. But I guess the point is this, is that I can tell you that if you are missing my content, there's a ton of people who are out making stuff and doing stuff, addressing these issues that are worthy of your attention. You can check out Cambion.
Religion.
Has,
Catholicism.
Started streaming a little bit more consistently
politics.
Now. It's a very good take
your
on
spirituality.
Also, I did, I guess it was...
Are you in purgatory?
Spooky was live streaming. I joined the live stream. We had a very nice talk. I think that...
God bless you.
Had a lot of good context.
And Gesundheit.
Principled discussion regarding... the current brouhaha and the nature of the community in general. How many will go live or sticking on their schedule. You got Steve Maria, Stephen Bobina, you got Stephen Cambion over at Truth Seekers. You're spoiled for choice. And, in retrospect, I wish that I knew that, I forget the song, but it's like, you wish you knew back then what you've learned now. That you couldn't have possibly learned it without the experience. If I knew and understood,
you were possessed.
How much more valuable?
But you were the witch that did it,
or would be.
You just got retarded.
To have other people sharing the load, or
you want to give you the load. Sexual
and trying to do everything yourself, or trying to be kind of
energetic and
a manifestation of a proprietary ownership over a certain issue.
I'm sole proprietor of the Hair Emporium. Susanna B. Pratt, me, myself, and I.
But what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Retrospect is retrospect. What's Spooky's channel called? Spooky's channel is called Spooky's channel. So if any of the moderators want
you made me into a ghost.
Link to Spooky's channel in the live stream, the live chat, you can very well do that. Let me see if I can do that myself. There you go.
They can see me, right?
I can do two birds with one stone.
I'm just not sitting in front of the screen like a dork.
Here we go.
I'll give you a little more.
So the problem that I always found when I started on Spooky's channel was the fact that if you enter the research for Spooky, you get a bajillion different various channels called Spooky. You gotta rename the channel. You gotta rename the channel so people can find you. But
you
don't have to.
You gotta be stupid.
There you go, Surgeon on. I appreciate the incentive, but I would warn you, be wary of curses. Curses snap back, karma's a bitch.
I always got one more thing. No, I painted this when I was a little girl. And it's got some chips. Don't laugh at it, Tubby. Hello? Did he leave? I guess we should go check. My grandma Opal. No, I didn't paint this. I gotta be silly. My grandma Opal. This is one of her pieces. I didn't paint this. Did I? I'm not sure if I painted this or not. I don't know. Oh my God. My brain doesn't know something. Shit. Call the Mounties. Let's see. I think I'm funny. Okay. Where'd he go? You know what? He just turned himself off. Is that what happened? Oh, I see. It's his Patreon. Ew. Hey, this is creepy, man. Now hang on to your heels. Okay. So the name of this video is Death Creeps Quietly, a vision in Cha-Cha Heels. And he streamed it live on the equinox, December 21st, 2020. And we got a big old full moon outside, and I'm feeling good. Now, 32 thumbs up, 14 down. Let's tag voter fraud and go through an example now of what's happened. So, people see it, technology, does its job, all these miraculous things that I don't know nothing about. I've been waiting for somebody to explain it, but we've been working. So, anyhow, I get it now why he's speaking like that, but the way I've been streaming, I'll have at least 2 conversations going on and some music or something. That's how the code breakers always did it back in World War II. I don't see why it would be a federal offense during World War 18,075,000. Now he just bounced back and he's talking. Oh, here he comes. What the hell happened?
Go to music or technical difficulties, type of or a card we could go to, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Or we could have an emergency link over, but then that turns into nightness. But I appreciate your patience with me. I appreciate you taking the time and doing that.
He did this. He manipulated my volume. Tag it. That's what happened. He stopped his video. I was over on the other screen. He controls my video editor. They all do. So they just constantly do this to stop me from doing my work for the world and for peace. So anyhow, I just wanted to tag that. And this opera is Alan Berg's Lulu. It's very twisted, beautiful. It was cast in '85, the year I opened my salon. And this last name is Bergs. So tag this Bergs through witchcraft to Channer becoming Bergs and continuing his harassment through that channel as well, and multiplying out, which is why this has been so treacherous.
I would rather support the other YouTube content creators, and then one day regret it for reasons of jealousy, than to abstain from supporting
This is his
other
confession,
content creators.
but he must pay.
As a prophylactic of having my
He uses a
jealousy
contraceptive term.
one day reactivated.
He has fantasies.
That's
And
where
I
we're
don't
going.
want him.
What's going on.
I
So
don't
you saw
welcome
we
him,
put the link
and he
into
torments
the live chat, so it should be there variously. And I do recommend subscribing, because the more the merrier, and yeah, and good stuff. So there's plenty of stuff. You guys are in good hands. There's going to be plenty of people that'll be making content during me taking a break, to take care of you guys, and to fill in the blank, as it were. And yeah, like I said, when I'm away, I'll do my best to remember to get one or two videos out of the archive, and put them back, so that people have something to watch if that scratches their itch. And there we are. I think having said that, it just brings us to kind of having taken care of talking about scheduling. I might not be here for the next couple of days through the holidays. And there you go. So I guess that's our, what would I say? That's our housekeeping taken care of. And so then I can just take the rest of the time that we have together to just tune to the live chat and see what you guys or the guys and gals are interested in talking about, if anything. I see Robin Eaglesong in the live chat as well. Welcome to the proceedings, Robin Eaglesong. Ain't we lucky we got 'em? Good times. Phil Blair says, "Did you have a nice Hanukkah?" I had a one. Got all 8 crazy nights in. It's very interesting to
Trying to cast on infinity the crimes against the cosmic court, all of creation.
saying prayers that I grew up for so many years.
He means his
Hearing
rituals
my
and curses and casts.
dad say, and
You're not even Jewish. You can't do that.
and knowing that those words are words that have been said and prayers that have been said,
But they're not for
by
you.
his father and his
You
father
are not
before
Jewish.
him, and throughout the generations
father
and throughout the diaspora of the
doesn't
Jewish
count.
people.
It's your mother's
to
bloodline.
Find yourself in a position.
You're not Jewish, stoner.
It's been a couple
What
of
do you
years
smoke?
since the
You know your
since
rules. Order in the court.
responsibility fell to me. But it's good, and it's nice, and it's fun, and you have to understand, like I grew up in a situation with a very complicated cultural and religious identity.
Well, you're supposed to get over that when you're like grown
my
up.
father was Eastern European Jew. My mother was a Puerto Rican
49 to be
Baptist.
exact.
And
See, you
both
still
me
aren't
and my
grown
brother,
up.
were raised
Nobody
in a
can
very,
really wait for you.
unusual situation where we celebrated both holidays.
These are your angel years. It's true.
And cultural traditions
Let me
are
go get the life
complicated.
chart today,
And
going.
cultural identities
Let it
are
never say,
complicated.
be said
And
that I'm
the
not
holidays
fully
will always
into my
be moments of
beliefs.
happiness, but they could also be fraught with ennui and dispute and anger, and that's not the situation for my family today. Those factors and those individuals who could sometimes complicate things, when they're with us, or the causes of those distresses have gone away. So it's just able to be
I'll tell you what.
a unique cultural identity with the family and the household that celebrates both. Without
if some contaminated worm
it turning
in the
into,
computer wouldn't have took a bite out of
competition
my
and a
apple,
fight. There was this,
it'd be
I
a
swear to
whole
God,
lot easier
growing up
to do
me
my
and my brother were the
presentations.
beneficiaries of a
They
bizarre
all stem
system
from Rudolf
where
Steiner.
the competition between Hanukkah and
But oh
Christmas
no,
became almost
I can't use my
kind
phone
of a cold
because
war
everybody hacked it.
of
And if they could just
up in
get
the
that
ante,
code, dadgummit,
gifts.
they would have
It
done killed
was,
us.
it was totally like buying the children's
It's the
love.
truth.
It was
Everybody
insane.
knows it.
Through various
That's
members
why
of the
it's
extended
no L batteries.
tribe,
Okay.
group. Anyway, enough, not to get too personal.
So the 44th year. Hang on.
But it's funny. People need to know and understand. So like Hanukkah is a religious holiday.
But you're not Jewish.
But it is by
You can't
far,
claim Jewish. You grew up in
one
the
of
Catholic
least
stuff.
important ones. It's not,
And the Hare Krishna
really not
stuff.
a major holiday.
You're really not even into
It
it.
has become a
Okay.
major holiday, I think,
Let me
because
turn
it
you
happens
down.
so close
Hang
to
on.
Christmas.
Let me turn you off.
It's the default.
That really pisses off a demon. Like they gotta wait on you and
It
stuff.
becomes the default alternative to Christmas, so the kids, little Jewish kids don't have to feel bad because they're getting stuff too, and so it becomes this huge thing.
Okay, great stopping point. Okay, I'm back. So, this is the original chart from the book The Human Life. See, I should have been on YouTube doing stuff like this, not this lunacy that is a misuse of technology. All right. Too much squawking in the opera, too. All right. So at 44, what we see here is this sign. And don't ask me to tell you what it is. See, I always feel bad because I don't know everything. And I've said it a gajillion times. But it says, from I, truth becomes the ideal. Not I, but it thinks in me. And then it says, ages of public work begin. And down here at 43, it says angel, spirit self. And then we're just going to work with where his age is. But he's really in his 45th year. Oh, don't. No Illuminati signs. Serious. I wasn't trying to do that. He's really in his 45th year. But, see, oh, wow, what a trip. You guys are going to freak out. I know. I just realized it, but I'm doing my work. Okay, so, see, I really went through this stuff for real. This is before I was online. I was in my public life, and everybody knew me as a hairdresser. And then people got pissed off, me and the knowledge, Some people really liked it for a while, and other people didn't like it at all, but that really wasn't my issue. They were in my business, and if I choose to decorate my business with what I want to decorate it with, see, these days they say you can't do that. You're too personal. And that's what happened here on YouTube, is like the idea that people don't need to know that much information. Well, They actually do, and they do background checks on people. So in the meantime, it makes somebody feel bad if they didn't do what they were supposed to be doing, and they make an excuse why. Or they just like hide it or pretend it didn't happen, which here again, if there's no secrets, then you got to acknowledge that and say that you comprehend the repercussion of the actions of that inaction. I guess that makes you a bad actor. I don't know. So, a long time ago, when all this hoopla happened, I quit writing in these little boxes when I was 46. And I'm 56 now. And that takes me all the way up to the chart up here. This has nothing to do with Tubby, right? Because it's my age. It's my life. It's my story. It has nothing to do with these goofballs that stole my identity. But of course, nobody's ever going to see it in their mind. And, you know, it's like, good grief, man. Can we get to this new year? Or will somebody call me? Or no, don't call me. Just come to the door. If you're one of the 4. Otherwise, you come to the door. Don't cry about the result. Sure, Joe's going to hockey. Don't think I'm scared. All right. Well, anyhow, my Saturn return. That's like a BFD. And we're at a big full moon, too. Now, I'm so tired of this astrology from Rosati and from Phoenix and from the misuse of astrology. And that's why I never, ever, ever participated in any of the hoodoo voodoo that everybody else seems to be involved in. And that just really jerks my chain that I don't have. But it pisses me off. Okay. I've been doing bigger pieces of paper. I've shown them as evidence. You know, like everything that's happened, and I do 8x11s, and I have it in a file folder that says live charting. Yeah. So, one of these days, but I don't think so. And then in the meantime, it's really hard to write over your writing. And, you know, colors fade, and I just don't really see the torment or why I should do that. But back to what I wanted to say, and I just noticed this tonight. All right. So, I don't really know if I can get it. Hang on. So anyhow, this Lulu opera, what a trip the first time I saw that. And now I see how far they worked with their advanced media in this contract that they made with the devil, let's say. But man makes their own devils. So, you know, on the news the other night or this morning, they were talking about fairies and a fairy garden. And I thought, you can blow me sideways because, of course, they've stolen every one of my concepts. So it's funny that it was all about these fairy gardens where people write notes. And I'm thinking, what a contamination hazard, man. But, you know, it makes the news and they use it as propaganda and media. But of course, all these creations that I made with the crystals that Chandler mocks would be lovely in a fairy garden. So if you lived in a well-to-do area, you could easily have a piece like this that would fit into your little garden. They're all put together. It's very innovative, very original. But with the war that's happened over this bad marketing and the lack of business ethics, it's kind of run off the track. But fairy gardens, sacred spaces, and the feng shui. So they would mock this and call me New Age, which you guys know I think they do that just because they were trying to suck energy off me with their spell. Okay. Let me move this. You know, when you do a presentation, there's always that quick cleanup and see everybody has misused what they've seen of this house and its true purpose as a wellness center, especially when people are croaking right and left and they want to make up crap just because they decided to destroy themselves. I mean, it sounds like a movie, doesn't it? Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure that y'all can at least say that you can acknowledge this little weird looking drawing that I drew. And it says, remove the implant from my chest. And I've told the story how I've done videos, they've buried it and tried to cover it up. And then they made a fake media campaign about removing astral implants. And see, it was weird because this gal that had her kids in Waldorf, a chiropractor named Robin, Dr. Robin, was in Ferguson, and I knew her cousin who was Donna Bond. I went to beauty school with Donna Bond. So anyhow, I got too deep in it. Oh, yeah. So Dr. Robin had an event held at a church in 2014, and it was Dr. Dick Versendahl, which always reminded me of Kirkendall, Donna Kirkendall I went to beauty school with, and she was there with the two-headed dildo story, which is really weird. But Dr. Dick did that, pump your arm thing and tell you how sick you are. And he basically told me I was like almost dead. And it was kind of weird. But he said I was the healthiest sick person, and every doctor that ever has marveled at my physiology has said that. And Dr. Tipu Sultan, who could save the world with his magnesium IVs, would attest to me, and he'd say, I got a joke to tell you. And it'd be about this little Catholic girl, and you shouldn't smoke cigarettes. And I always tell him about, well, you ought to live by your blood type because he's an O and I'm an A, but he's not in North County anymore. But what a great man, Pakistan gentleman. And I know his family is in the business, and I hope that they're always well, and they're a great part of the story. But anyhow, this implant thing. Well, I told Dr. Dick that I didn't have Lyme disease. I had an astral implant or a parasite. See, it's a parasite, okay? And so it's a melding of two stories. All right. Here I am, for real. Hang on a second. Okay. It is. It's this side of my chest. Freckled skin is really hard to like really see things on, and that's how my grandfather was murdered in 1951, probably. I'm just saying I would stake my existence on it. The heart attack gun, they could hit you with it and they wouldn't leave marks. But if you were freckled, it was really hard to tell. Now, I heal better than most. I guess that's why people hate me, or they don't really get how things work. But I've had skin cancer, so it's not like having this kind of skin is a great thing, but it's not a bad thing. But the point is, there's really no marks different than freckled skin that's been blistered before. And there's no scar tissue. And this thing that came out was really big and really weird. And it was solid, like a piece of plastic, like a silica bead. It wasn't like a worm, like, with eyes, and like you'd poke it and it'd go rah, because I was scared of that when I pulled it out of my chest and I did it with a tweezer. I was going to pick Chelsea up on the south side, and that's when that crazy, there's a million ways to describe it, and I don't want to demean it in any way, but I was carried across a crash, and they know it, and they were there, and they actually did it just like they protected me when I've been hit with these weapons. This is my family. Whether it's blood or not is irrelevant because nobody knows that, but the jokes about it are ridiculous. So anyhow, I didn't have Lyme disease, but Dr. Dick said I did. And here's what happened to him. And it's tragic. Hang on. And that's why these other people claim that you can't make this stuff up, because it for really real happened to me. So it was in February, and it was right before my birthday. And there's a lot of things that get cast on a lot more days than you'd expect. But your birthday is one of them. And so it was a snowy night, and it was in a church, and he did the deal. And he went back to Michigan. That's where he lived. And he studied how to control viruses. And I really liked him because that's what Jonas Salk wanted to do too. And it was like there was a common thread of these men's work. And I have read and studied on it, and I'm fully well aware. I already know what they're talking about. But when he was going back to Michigan, there was a whiteout, which means a shitload of snow. And he crashed into like almost a billboard, not really like a pole with a sign that says don't speed or something, you know? And he passed, and I phoned his daughter. I didn't know it was his daughter, but I wound up talking to her. And it seems like everywhere I've been in my life, or those I've known, all of a sudden they're gone. I think that's part of this weird video game that is a convergence of all the dimensions and the hierarchies, and we don't know how complex any game is. And we're back to the Tale of the Green Knight and 4 parts of this mystery. And I can tell the movie great every time, and then I find out, you know, who is behind the filming of this, no different than Berg's behind the opera. So it kind of jumps out almost like a curse. Very, very odd. All right. On with the big shoe. If I remember, I'll say more later. But they got a ticker tape. And I knew that anyhow. So, if you really want to protect something, you got a special room. And they go, turn this thing on. And all the words that are coming out of my face are coming through with no audio on a ticker tape to this very day. Tag it. And we just went over that today. Okay. See, the world needs to know. And everybody thought that everybody wasn't ready for it. And then you got to add what's happened with everything. Hey, John Baptiste. Can't you just pop in here and like play a song or something? What am I doing? I'm looking for the mouse. Oh, up here. That's right. Oh, hey. One more thing this life chart says. It says self-knowledge in tableau form is preparation both for death and for working out of the spirit. Oh, yeah. And up here, my goal is inspiration, qualitative thinking, life forces. I'm in my creative era. So you see why they're trying to squelch my creativity. Oh, damn it. Sure, death creeps quietly. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. In we go.
It's fun. Lighting candles, saying prayers, exchanging gifts, spinning dreidels, geld. You know what I mean? I'll go with raspberry jelly. It's good times. It's good times. But I think it's interesting. So I look back on my behavior sometimes. A moment will happen. Like Phil Blair asked a very innocuous question, right? Did you have a happy Hanukkah? And I find myself on the back end of my response. And I say to myself, was that like an overshare? Like I kind of, went into, family history and the stuff. And
this is Norman.
You get
one of my security passcodes, my first dog.
And you get to realize certain things. And I guess, it was just right under the surface, I guess, the triggered is not the right word, right? Because it wasn't like a frenetic response. But
I'm off to get a spot of tea.
It's interesting. I think it's interesting. That's me, my response. Rather than just saying, yes, it was good. And I think that kind of goes along with what I was saying about, maybe why it's wise for me to take a couple of steps back. Because I know I have a tendency when I start talking to, oftentimes, friends and family have commented upon me and about me, enemies as well, I guess, that I seem to have been born without a filter, right? That I just, whatever comes to my mind, whatever's on my mind, comes out, and I say. And I think at times that can be a good quality, but of course at times, self-editing and boundaries, are often good as well. So it's one of those questions. You have these qualities, you have these quirks, you have these products of your nature and your nurture. And as you go up and you go through life, it's this process, this alchemical process of self-refinement where you try and figure out.
The rare type does. I'm the rare type.
What is a good quality that I should fight to preserve within myself and not lose? And versus what is a bad quality that I really need to work on, addressing or figuring out or getting rid of or controlling. And the tough thing about it is it has to do with the nature and reality of life, which is why I think people are so, kind of not doomed to quest, but to forever quest for the nature of the good or the proper principle of, ethics and morality or self-refinement. Because it's, you have like the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do that, thou shalt not do the other thing.
And you want to break it.
But the fact of the matter is that life is complicated. And there's it's that other part of the Bible, to everything a season, a time to reap, a time to sow. There will be a time when the lack of internal filter and the being 100% authentic or forthright or honest in one's discourse. This is what's on my mind. I will give you an accurate depiction of it. This is my opinion. This is my formulation of the circumstances, and you get it. Not politicized, not cleaned up, not watered down. There's going to be a time when that is the right thing to do. And there's going to be times when self-restraint is going to be the order of the day.
No.
So I think oftentimes we're tempted to want to find the magic formula, universally applicable in all situations. So that in all situations, we would know entirely what is the right and wrong way to act. But I don't think life is really like that.
Yes, it is.
So we are forever in the moment of having to find the right answer
time and space,
and risk making the wrong decision, the wrong action, at every turn of the.
And you know it, and you love it.
At every turn of the wheel of fortune. little
You
bit of a
pledged your
philosophical
soul to
response
destroy
there.
it.
Here we go. So Phil Blair, another thing. Here we go. Phil Blair says, I thought Puerto Rican families were almost always Roman Catholic. CW chanted my family's part, crazy Baptist, evangelical too. Not me though. I'm more like Falwell, less like Dr. MLK Jr. People come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. There's all sorts of different
But you
practitioners.
judge
Yes,
me.
we often hear that. And, you know,
Me and my beliefs.
the influence and the power of the Catholic faith in many Latin countries, Hispanic cultures is profound. But there are other people as well, and it is what it is. Even though, you know, we talk about these things, and even when people are members of a religion, we always need to remember that we're dealing with individuals, right? There are plenty of people who, you know, are Catholic or Orthodox or whatever, who present as an individual with very, you know, idiosyncratic belief systems and very fluid, you know, levels of interpretation. And there's many reasons to be involved in organized religion. Some people are involved in name only, you know, showing up on Christmas, or they're there because that's what they were raised. And it's interesting. You know, it's always interesting. And I remind myself of this because it's funny, because social media seems to have this effect of bringing more people into more individuals and the
Of healing a broken
thoughts
heart.
and musings of more individuals into your life.
Or
But
the
as
key
they
to the
do that,
universe.
it ends up turning into a sea, right? It ends up turning into an aggregate. So we've talked about this on my channel before, about this notion of knowing myself, that I've oftentimes made the mistake
Oh,
of
he thinks he's me, by the way.
failing to make the distinction
Which is
between,
really creepy.
say, individual supporters of Donald Trump and the kind of the aggregate of, you know, what it's like to hear about or to be an observer of the Booanon community, right? Or the more rabid elements, or Proud Boys, or whatever. And yes, it's always something to keep in perspective. It's something I think people have talked about in regards to the current, you know, movings and shakings amongst the latest ramifications of what's going on, you know, with the the cosmic lawsuit community. I think we're gonna have to start referring to it as. There you go. Moving my way through. Down Jones Muller says, should California vote to be its own country? I would hope not. Levi Veltman says, what is Booanon? You know very well what Booanon is. Check your hard drive, right? Reformat your disk, young bot. God bless you. Yeah, cosmic lawsuit community, right? I think I just hit that. I think that works. Oh, Stephen Duran says, CW, you think Puerto Rico would vote to be a state? I think it's close. I support, personally, I support statehood for Puerto Rico. The Commonwealth status is a nightmare. And it prevents the normalization of a lot of different aspects of the island and how it's run and how it's represented. And I think it should. You know, the biggest, you know, block to, well, there's a couple of complicated things going on. So when we talk about whether or not Puerto Rico becomes a state, there are those individuals who advocate for statehood. There's those individuals who advocate against it. And the people that advocate against it usually fall into kind of two basic camps. Number one, there are people who they've got financial incentives to want to keep Puerto Rico run and organized the way that it is. There's certain things that's how that has to do with a lot of the problems with the running of Puerto Rico. There's a lot of avenues and opportunities for corruption. There's a lot of things that can happen with corporate taxes, and so there's a reason why a lot of the so-called Bitcoin aficionados or billionaires or libertarians had flocked to Puerto Rico at a time, because of the nebulous way that it works. Also, there's like it's fucked up. It's like people are talking about like these conspiracy theories about people being taken to Gitmo for military tribunals. The right to a jury trial, I don't believe is guaranteed in Puerto Rico. If you want to know where they would go, they wouldn't take them to Gitmo. They would probably take them to Puerto Rico, honestly. But so there's problems there, and then there's also the people that oppose being a state because they don't want to be a state.
Was a good man.
They want to be an independent country.
Stand up
And
to you.
I don't have much truck with that community. They're entitled to their opinion, but I just don't think it's feasible because of just lack of natural resources and lack of a history of self control and self organization. I think you'd just be better off as a state. But that's me, and there's people that disagree with me, and it is what it is. Oh, William Pixie says, I really appreciate Stephen Camden giving you a shout out on the Mendoza situation, much deserved. Thank you, and I thank him as well. We see that Sweet Cheeks has joined us. All right, welcome aboard. William Pixley, polls have shown Puerto Rico overwhelmingly supports statehood. Yeah, more and more. More and more. Let's see, we got time-wise. Okay, pretty soon I'll be leaving you. So we got Spooky says, why is raw? I guess it's that time of the show. We can pull a card for Puerto Rican statehood, but before we do, let's ask our $1 million question. I've got the good old Aquarian Tarot in my hands. We will ask ourselves one more time, why is Ra? If people are not familiar with Ra, Google is your friend. Ra, the guy. Ancient Egyptian god. Source of the raw materials. The laws one stuff. Some allege a modern participant in certain stranger aspects of UFO culture as of late. V says, have you spent time in Puerto Rico? I spent summers in Old San Juan. We used to visit Puerto Rico all the time. Everything is in Old San Juan. But absolutely. We have family there, so we used to go every year. So anyway, nearly every year. Here we go. William Pixie says, oh Lord, are we at the tarot segment of the presentation? Yeah, there you go. He says, come on, Spooky, always the same question. But we touched upon this. Did we touch upon it here? Yeah, we were on this channel. Spooky was with us, and we asked ourselves about asking the same questions. Because you ask the same question, and you get these variety of answers and responses. It adds nuance, and it's like you can never step in the same river twice, right? But the realization that you can't step in the same river twice is born out of the attempt to do so, right? If that makes sense. He says, this is how I know CW, I know it. And we're having this conversation about Puerto Rico and interconnections with Puerto Rico. And we're talking about the UFO community and what just happened in Puerto Rico. The Arecibo telescope. Telescope. Is that a telescope? Radioscope, whatever. It got demolished in that accident. Was it like an earthquake? There you go. Robin Inglesong has been to Puerto Rico. All right. Spooky. It's a metric. What kind of day has it been, right? He's like, it's the 30th time. It's the 30th time until it'll be the 31st. It crumbled. Yes, it absolutely did. There we go. But for today, why is wrong? And it's funny because here's what we could do, because we could put it in context and we can look at the whole situation. We are asking the question, why is wrong? And when people are asking, why are we asking the same question over and over again? And the answer is Ace of Pentacles. The root nature of material existence, of Earth. Pentacles, the suit of money for some, but that's really because money is tied to the labor and the working of the land, the fruits of our labor, the fruit of the land. But it's material existence. It's the world, it's the nature of Earth and the universe and those things which are manifest. So why is wrong? It's to do something fundamentally with the fundamental reality of existence, not just existence on a spiritual plane, but of living, of being. So that card would seem to argue that either it is the case or it is worth contemplating whether or not, when you think about religion or spirituality that we touch upon in this conversation today, whether or not it may be the case that regardless of whether or not there's a Jehovah or Ra or whatever, that the creation or belief or the creation of the belief in these entities is somehow fundamental. Maybe not even just fundamental to human beings or human nature or human psychology or culture, but maybe something intrinsic to reality itself. Genocide must now for Eight of Rods. Rods, the universal suit of creation. I mean, look, if I were to talk about phalluses in relation to this card, I think you would know where I was headed. But don't. I'm pointing in one direction. Yang. Eight is the rods. It's in many suits. It's in many tarot card decks. It's called wands, but it's the universal creative outflow of energy, creating a life and influencing and making change. The will manifest, not the will of the mundane conscious entity, but the will of life itself. When I think of it, eight, whenever I see eight personally, it's eternity, right? An eight on its side is the symbol of infinity. So, how is Thor? Thor is universally parenting, doing his thing with his hammer, right? The will of the god flows on it, as is the nature of its existence. Like that? So I guess he's doing okay. Or maybe it's a drag. The thing with eights and infinity is in regards to how it manifests in relation to these individual suits is depending on the suit and any really aspect, any notion of infinity or eternity or immortality has a negative connotation as well, because in many ways it can be considered like a trap. Like we're scared of death, so what's the solution to that fear of death? Okay, we'll be alive forever in heaven, after the rapture, after ascension, or when we join the source or whatever, or with Krishna in the garden, amongst the gopis. But many people, when they really think about the nature of being alive forever, could imagine it being a very maddening experience, right? To not be able to get off that roller coaster. right? Can you imagine, like, in heaven, there are many mansions. You deliver perfected body amongst perfected bodies. Forever, forever, ever, forever, ever is a time. And there might be a time when you just want to let go, right? So, and then maybe in that way, there's an aspect where God could be, or the gods could find themselves jealous in some fundamental way of mortals. There you go. There you go. Okay, so we've been here about an hour. I gotta go because I got some other things to take care of today. Is Chris Michael asked about Zen. Is Zen still around? Does anyone know? I was subscribed to his new channel just to try and figure it out, having realized that I was not going to figure it out, and really realizing that though I would be subscribed to him so I would see that he had uploaded, I wouldn't ever really have the desire to. Thank you. Robin Eagleson says you're going to be okay. Sue Champion, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Apparently he has 2 channels now. Interesting. It's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. The whole situation. Right? That's what I mean. Dealing with people are complicated. I mean, this is not me saying that guy is a dick. It's just me saying that there's no way. We say hello to Jolly Bridgeburn joining us late. We're about to clock out. But welcome for the time that we're here together. It's like art, I took this philosophy of art class once, and it was in we had one core text. I have it somewhere, but the introductory essay kind of basically says, okay, so here we are, asking the question, what is art? What is the nature of art? How can we define it? What is the philosophy of art? And the conclusion statement of the opening essay was, we may not be able to have a definitive answer to these fundamental questions about art, but we do know that having dealt with the questions, that art is something about which one can have a philosophy. I mean, I'm paraphrasing to an uncredited source, so it doesn't really matter. So I the whole thing was Zen, and because remember, I mean, this is a person that not only seems to have presented with an incredibly fundamental change in his persona and approach. The thing that's so confusing about it for me, we see Truth Seekers, we see Stephen Cambion is here as well. Thank you, Stephen Cambion, for shouting me out and your support, and we're supporting you over here as well. Good to see you in the live chat. Though we're going to be wrapping things up, it is still nice to see people. I dealt with Zen. We did I did 3 or 4 different shows with him on his channel. Lord knows he spoke with me on my channel. So between all those shows, I interacted with him. We had solid conversations about philosophy and about spirituality and about, the nature of people who believe in woo and channeling and whether or not it was a crock or whether there was some value to it. We had probably 8 or 9 hours of conversation. And then he participated in that whole debate between me and Unity Rock. And the reason I bring this stuff up for the context for me is what makes it so strange to me is that, there are people that if you dealt with them for a couple hours, you may walk away from those conversations and say, wow, this person's unstable, or this person is subject to crazy mood swings, or what have you. I never got that impression. I mean, he had a salient worldview. He had written 2 books, and he appeared, solid, right? He appeared, consistent. Though I know that his life story and his biography included, a transformational journey of being involved in different things. He was involved in, being a born again Christian, and he had, had studied obviously the LaVeyan Satanism, and we even talked about chaos magic and Austin Osman Spare's, was it the erotic alphabet? Not the erotic alphabet. There's an alphabet, like the alphabet of desire. We talked about these various things, so I knew that there was transformations that he was subject to change, but I didn't expect, this extremely reactionary, move. And it's not for me to tell you, what the answer is, why it happened. But I could tell you, oh my God, Levi Veltman dropping bombs in the live chat. I could go in there. So I couldn't tell you whether it's, a mental break, a spiritual transformation, a career move. But we can say that these are possibilities, because the one thing you need to know and understand is there was a fundamental shift in direction, right, in her worldview, and I would hope it was a business decision. I would have hoped it was a business decision, because a business decision may not be the right move. It may not be a successful move, but it's a move that one, or an explanation that one can contemplate without having to contemplate, someone having a real fundamental problem, right? Or what have you. But what's so crazy about it is that like you could I don't know if we're off on a tangent here, but this is the tangent we'll explore until the end. If I decided to change my whole approach tomorrow, I feel like there would be like this learning curve where I don't know how I could create an entirely new personality for YouTube tomorrow that not only would be focused on different subjects, but would be arguing about those subjects from a completely different point of view. Right? So it's not just that he turned into Alex Jones one day, it's that he could turn into Alex Jones one day, that he could be making these Alex Jones style arguments in the same way an Alex Jones type person would make them and analyze it from an Alex Jones like worldview. If that makes any sense, right? It's like absent a script. How do you do that? Unless it was there the entire time. You know what I mean? The only other logical explanation would be just complete anger with a given community. After you guys, you're going to treat me like trash, you're going to treat me like garbage, or I'm going to perceive that you're treating me like garbage. So I'm going to go and join the other team. Bizarre. Interesting. You know what I mean? There you go. Anyway, we'll wrap it up for today. Oh, yeah, okay, we'll wrap it up for today. We'll wrap it up for today. I love you, I love you, I love you. If no one told you that they loved you today, somebody just did that. Somebody CW chanter, make of that what you will. as I said at the beginning of the show, though I know some people joined us late, we are going to enter a period headed through Christmas of inconsistent uploading and live streaming, if any at all. It's very likely that you guys won't see me until the Saturday after Christmas or the Monday back after the holidays. In the event that I'm not streaming on these given days, I will do my best to find one or two videos from the archive that we recently set to private to bring back so that people have something to watch. It might also be interesting to figure out if there's a way, I'm sure that there is, with share screen and share audio, where maybe I could, even if I'm not live streaming, I don't know, but because if I had the time to do this, I'd use the time to stream, to like restream, old content. You know what I mean? That way you could do a live chat and the people could be in the live chat. Well, let's see what's going on here. Truth Seekers, you should open up a new channel and try that. I think referring to trying to be something completely different. I thought about that, because when we did the Secret Space program, Whistleblower School, there's a series of videos that I should probably just put back live. Put back into rotation. I know that people liked those, and I think that those were worthwhile without involving too much specific talk about specific individuals. So maybe we'll do that. But there were, when I was exploring the Secret Space program whistleblower material, there was a thought of just practice what you preach, of using the Secret Space program whistleblower rules to start a new channel to see if we could infiltrate from within. The things that discouraged me from doing that were hypocrisy, and I didn't want it to be in any way, shape, or form mean-spirited, and also just there's this, when you know that if I go onto my main channel and live stream, that there'll be X amount of viewers consistently and an X amount of views consistently, it's sometimes hard to justify, or feels like a waste of time to go onto one of the alternative channels that I have, because it's like, if there's something worth talking about, if there's something worth exploring or worth covering, why are we, not exposing it to the largest group of people? So generally, the alternative channel, it was worked for a while. There was a point where we were going to just shut down the CW Champion channel, not, mothball it, but that I was just going to kind of, like Japanese wood block printer or painter, start over, go to another channel, embrace the lack of views, embrace the de minimis subscribers, and just, figure out a way to make it about the work without it being about the egoity or the dopamine stimulation of the numbers or of the data points. Then it became just that the main alternative channel, I'm the one who works here now, was for the experimental stuff, the experimental music, what have you, the tarot card readings. How did I get onto that kick? But, so the notion of having a channel that I would be, 100% duplicitous on, or claiming to be a Secret Space program whistleblower, claiming to be a UFO contactee, doing the whole channeling thing. What's the distinction between being artsy and experimental or proving a point and trolling or being deceptive or, setting people up for a fall or a pinch, you know what I mean? Like, ha ha ha, you idiot, you thought that this was true. It was CW Champion the whole time. There you go. So we'll see. There you go. Levi Veltman says, I wish I'd stop getting coal in my stocking. That's what you get for living in a mining town. There you go. Times yourself all over. There you go. The William Pixley, I think, to my point. There's enough LARPing. Absolutely. There you go. Okay, folks, let's wrap it up. I love you. I love you. I know this is the second round of I love you, but why not, right? If I'm going to be not with you for a minute, I might as well give you more love than less, right? I love you. I love you. I love you. If no one told me they loved you today, somebody just did. That's somebody's CW Chanter. Make of that what you will. Thank you so much for coming back and supporting my channel and giving us this view. If you so desire, I know I'm supposed to tell you to do it. They've done studies, and what they figured out is that the YouTube content creator, in order to maximize views and in order to maximize engagement, is not supposed to say it like this. If you want to, if it occurs to you, it'd be nice. If it doesn't put you out, feel free to maybe click the thumbs up button. Remember to subscribe if you can, if you want to. Hit the bell notification if you want to see everything that I upload or be notified when I upload. No, that's like a bad sales technique. And what I'm supposed to do is go, smash the like button, smash the like button, smash the like button. Do it. Do it now. Do it right now. I'm telling you to do an affirmative action right now at this moment. Hit the like button. Subscribe. Smash the subscribe button. Smash the bell icon. Be notified. Turn notifications on your phone. Do it now. Do it now. Do it now. Like you have no choice. Like command you to share this on social media right now on your Twitter. Oh wait. Look down below. The little arrow. You hit it. You select Twitter. You select Reddit. Share this. Share it now. Do it. Oh. Right? So it's a command you to do it. And that's what's going to maximize my views. And if I'm not maximizing my views, I'm like wasting my time and yours, and I'll never make it into marketing heaven. And I'll never make it to Paris, right? I won't be a success story on YouTube. I won't be the next Logan Paul or whatever. Anyway, folks. Anyway, I'll talk to you again real soon. Have fun, but don't have too much fun without me. And listen, folks, do me a favor.
Right.
While I'm gone for the next couple of days, invariably, many of you are going to find yourselves in
really
the live
cool.
chats of other broadcasts. Do me a favor. Just do me a favor. Mention me every once in a while. Hopefully something good. Golden Coin 100's here. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Right? Say something nice. Like, oh man, I'm glad that Stevens and Spooky are streaming. We can all get together and hang out, but
oh, that feels good. To survive the attack and the curse be broken, and everybody to have seen the witness. It's cool. The opera was marvelous. That's a channel called Angel Parsifal, and it says, 1985 Munich Opera Festival. And it's conducted by the composer who finished Act 3 in 1979. Really? Friedrich Sierra and the cast were superb singers as Catherine Malfitano, Franz Mazura, Bridget Fassbender, and Hans Hodder. Bavarian State Opera Orchestra. Wow. Okay. What is going on? Still live streaming. So much action in such a short amount of time. Let's see what's going on in the Ethernet. Do, do, do. Do, do, do. I expect it is very quiet. Otherwise, we'd have trouble. And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. My rod and staff are with me and they comfort me, right? So, you know, you take it as literal as you want. And I seem to take things pretty literal. Yeah, everything's quiet on the Western Front. That's good. Okay, everything is nice and quiet, just moving along. Do. Yeah, I think I'm done. All right. Have a wonderful, eventful full moon. I guess it's the last one of 2020. Well, be blessed all. Good night.